I'm saying, well, I don't think he's got paid yet on it's got to go to auction house. How lucky is that?
Firstly,
he should pay for everything, to be honest.
Should. He absolutely should. He should. He should pay for the amount of sunscreen, the SPF roughly 1,000 that those two individuals are going to need in California over the next week. But good on him. First of all, Alex and I have fun because he's a Caitlin Clark fan, as am I. I like to say I was a Caitlin Clark fan before
Iowa
it was.
Guy?
Yeah, I like to say I was a Caitlin Clark fan before it was cool.
Yep.
But yeah, good on him to pick up a card like that. And one of the first things he said was like, "Do you want to buy it?" I was like, "Oh yeah," because I just have $20,000 and just laying around. You know, just let me pull out my Swish fund for that one.
What's he gonna get paid, Drew? 10,000, 20,000. How much he make on that card?
Sorry.
How much is he making on that card?
I think it depends. It hasn't gotten graded yet, but if it's graded as a 10, he thinks he could get anywhere from like 15 to 20,000.
Does he have a timetable for like when that thing's gonna get graded?
He sent it in. I don't know when it arrives or all that stuff, but I know that he sent the card. He's mailed the card in to the place to get graded.
What an unbelievable pull.
He was so worried about that too. He took the day off the other day. You were in there with Cody, and then he ran up to the actual mail station, I think, to
because it was
the post office
they said
just
it was
to make
out
sure
for
he gets
delivery,
it.
and then it went back to the post office. Like it was going to go back to the facility where it was just going to sit there all weekend. So
I just picture him like a kid on Christmas Friday. Like Friday morning, he woke up 6 a.m. He's fully dressed, like down to his socks and shoes. He's just sitting there peeking through the blinds, waiting around with bated breath for this card to arrive. And every car that drives by, you can just see it. Like he immediately gets a little bit of excitement and then the disappointment of that car not being a USPS van or something.
Yeah, the story is insane. I would be worried about it just as much as him, I would say, if I knew it was worth that much. But I mean, hey, the fact that it's a Caitlin Clark card as well. She's a part of the indie community, my hometown, Indy Fever.
How dare you?
You're an Indy guy, but a Bengals fan.
Correct, but I'm an
You made a
Indiana.
mistake
But I'm an
somewhere
Indiana Fever and I'm an Indiana Pacers fan.
Why aren't you a Colts fan?
I stick to those roots. Because as a little kid, my favorite animal is a tiger, and the Bengals jerseys are the best. And I saw the helmets. And
You
the
got to be
jerseys, I was
kidding me.
like,
You
I
got
like
to be kidding me.
them. No, I actually was rooting for the Chiefs. By the way,
that's true. That's true.
I rooted for the Chiefs.
You actually like Tigers, and that's why
not.
you're a Bengals fan?
Yeah, I rooted for the Chiefs when they blew the game to Andrew Luck. Sorry to remind people about that. I just had to throw that in there.
Hey, that was rough, man.
It's a good start to the show, guys.
That is one of the stranger fandoms that I've ever heard of. Like, I get a lot of heat from people because I am, unfortunately, after last night, I'll admit that I am a Boston Celtics fan. And, but my reasoning is because when I was a little kid, my dad used to play video games all the time. And he'd play, like, NBA Live 2004, 2005 on our PC. And he always played with the Celtics because Boston had a guy named Ricky Davis on their roster who played at the University of Iowa. So I became a Celtics fan. But I didn't become a Celtics fan because I liked leprechauns. Like that's a wild one.
I totally
me.
understand. Look, I get if you like something and there's a team that is a part of what you like, then I think that fits. If you pick a team early enough and you stick with them, then it goes.
Well,
I agree.
Did you like him back in the Boomer Esiason days, or were you even alive?
I wasn't alive then. I was born in 1995.
Man.
I was born when they stunk.
I forget you Tide Pod eaters.
I was born like with Achilles Smith.
Pod eaters.
I can't believe do you like the Detroit Tigers?
I used to like the Detroit Tigers actually a lot growing up. Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, I like Cabrera.
Ordonez was my guy. I liked Maglio a lot.
Everybody's got a weird sports story though. Okay. If he's with Tigers and how about I just grew up in Kansas City? I like the local team.
Yeah, I mean, and I was a Red Sox fan too growing up a lot because the Boston connection, not to mention the fact that I was a massive Dustin Pedroia fan. I watched every Red Sox game I possibly could in the early to mid 2000s because I loved Dustin Pedroia because he was the smallest guy on the field and he was an absolute superstar. I mean, Rookie of the Year, MVP. And then he ended up with the injuries and stuff. And when I got to high school is when the Royals started to get good again, and you actually had to pay money for baseball cards versus when I was a kid growing up in the metro where cops would just hand out packs of Royals cards because nobody in their right mind would spend money on that.
Do you remember Chiefs cards?
Yes.
When police had the Chiefs card?
Yes. But again, that was way less frequent for me as a kid because the
Here's
Chiefs.
Your Christian Okoye.
Yeah, well, and like the Chiefs, a lot of it when I was younger anyway, like when I was growing up, when I hit 6, 7, 8 years old, that was the Trent Green, Priest Holmes, Eddie Kennison, Tony Gonzalez years of the Chiefs,
No
right?
defense times.
Yeah,
Great offense.
Great offense. Casey Wigman and Brian Waters and Neil Smith and that tremendous offensive line that they had. But that was gone. But it was just very interesting to me how that shifted with like the Royals. They were always so bad when I was a kid, and cops were constantly handing those out all the time.
Going to the Royals games was not always fun, Drew. I still remember I went to the 1980 World Series, man. That's how old I am. I was a kid, very small kid, but I did go to the 1980 World Series and, of course, enjoyed 85 because this is kind of your prime.
Right.
When you're 12 years old, the team won the World Series, and they were very good. Matter of fact, the Royals had the highest payroll in baseball in the late 80s. You and Coffin, the Royals had the highest payroll in all of baseball, and then all of a sudden the cable television boom. Remember, like the Turner and everything with the Braves and WGN with the Cubs.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the Yes Network, the Yankees. And that's when cable television blew up, and that's when the Royals went back down. But they had the highest payroll in baseball in the late 80s.
You mentioned
That's unbelievable.
You mentioned the Tigers, obviously a part of the AL Central banking. I know you think that not that the division is decided now, but you think it's down to those two teams? I mean, you're completely kicking Cleveland to the curb in this situation. Minnesota's out. Chicago White Sox, we already all know, is out anyways.
Well, a couple of days ago when Jose Ramirez got hurt, he came back and played the next day. But when he got hurt, I was like, there goes that team.
Yeah.
There goes that. He's like it, man. And he's a tough dude, Jose Ramirez, but when he's a Royals killer. But when all of a sudden he was hurt, I was like, keep an eye on this one, because that means how that team goes. It's not been their pitching staff. But, I've always thought it was a two-horse race between the Royals and the Tigers this season going in. I remember I was sitting in for CDOT one of those first days of the season. Can you believe I've already played over 30 games? I mean, it's crazy. But
it's gone quick.
I was like, I see it's a two-horse race, Royals and Tigers. And everybody's, well, what about Cleveland? They used to beat the Royals 2 out of 3. Baseball's a marathon, not a sprint. Just talk to me in July. Talk to me in July, and we'll see how Cleveland's doing. I just look at what Detroit's doing. That's a young and hungry, up-and-coming team. Well, I like the Royals, man. Like, this pitching staff's not good. This pitching staff is world-class, man, the Royals got. And the thought is, will it fall apart at some point? I don't know. In previous years, it has. This has a chance to be the best pitching staff ever for the Royals. The weird thing is they hit 7 home runs, so it's not a power team, but they did the other day in Baltimore, and they hit 7 home runs. But I don't know, Logan. I look at this team, and, you had 2 of the top 4 in the Cy Young voting last year as far as the Cy Young. So I don't Lorenzen, I could see coming back to the pack. Bubic comes back to the pack. And I think the bats will start warming up, and they have, because in this streak since the 20th, since MJ got sent back down to AAA, they're actually hitting 288 as a team. It's second in Major League Baseball. So the bats are starting to come around. I know last night not a great example against America's booty called the White Sox, but they did get a win, and it was a shutout win. Now 5 shutouts in the last 10 days for the Royals. That's insane.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see a day where the Royals were shutting out that many teams in a row.
Yeah, 5 in 10 days is unbelievable, and it's because this pitching staff is loaded for bear everywhere imaginable, right? They're starters, obviously. And you're right, Lorenzen and Bubic, I don't expect those guys to be hovering around a 3 ERA for the entire season by any stretch of the imagination. But what makes this team so special is if you got a starter that can go 5, right? He goes 5, 6 innings. He gives up 2 or 3 earned runs.
11 strikeouts, man.
Yeah, you get just enough run support. You have so much confidence when you get into the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning when you can look at John Schreiber and Carlos Estevez and Lucas Ursig. Or I mean, who in their right mind would have looked at this pitching staff at the beginning of the year and assumed that a guy like Steven Cruz, a minor leaguer, is going to give you 9 innings of work to open up the season in the first 6 weeks and not give up a single earned run. I mean, he's been unreal. I mean, Daniel Lynch as a relief pitcher, as a guy who's been a starter coming up through the minors and has been a spot starter throughout his career, has now become a top-tier middle relief guy with 17 and a third innings pitched. He's got a 1.04 ERA. This pitching staff is so good that it takes pressure off of the offense. And you're seeing some guys have tremendous starts to the year that are probably not sustainable, right? Is Maikel Garcia going to hit 320 all year? I don't think so, but he's probably the second best player on this Royals team so far this season. Is Drew Waters
he's played long enough that we're not worried about the adjustments being made like you would early on. So who knows? He could. It's not going to be this good, but I think he's past that phase of people making those adjustments.
He's seeing the ball so well. I mean, 20 strikeouts and 121 ABs, which is the best at-bat to strikeout ratio of his career thus far, right? Is Drew Waters going to continue to hit at a 280 clip for the rest of the year? No. But I also don't think that Benny Pasquantino is going to continue to hit 190 the entire year. I don't believe Michael Massey is going to continue to hit below the Mendoza line. So you're seeing some guys that are playing maybe a little bit above their weight class.
Drew Waters.
Yes, and you're seeing some guys that are playing a little bit below their weight class, and I think once those things start to even themselves out a little bit, you'll continue to see this team be successful. I think that this is a very, very talented ball club. I believed it was a playoff team at the beginning of the year. I still believe that. I can't go so far as to say that this is a two-horse race in the AL Central. I'm with you that I believe the Royals and the Tigers are the two best teams in this division. I mean, somebody just mentioned it in the text line. Cleveland has a run differential of minus 23, and they're 6 games above 500. Make that make sense. But there's something to be said for having a winning culture and having a winning mentality. The Cleveland Guardians have won this division 5 times since 2016. The Royals and Tigers, 0 times combined since 2016. So I can't help but look at this is a Guardians team that still has a lot of really good pieces from those past playoff teams. You mentioned Jose Ramirez as one of those guys. And while the pitching staff has left something to be desired, and
it's much. Look, the bullpen is what carried them last year.
Yes,
and that bullpen's not been the same.
Yeah, Emmanuel
actually, the Royals have a better ERA in the bullpen than the Indians.
100%.
The Guardians.
They have the best ERA in the American League so far this year, and that's not even counting what the bullpen looks like. It might be the best pitching staff, top to bottom, in Major League Baseball, at least through the first 6 weeks of the year. And I just. Again, it's so hard to determine, hey, it's a two-horse race in May because, and I'm going to knock on wood. I'm not going to be that guy. I don't want to be taking the blame for it, but let's speak hypothetically and reasonably. If Bobby Witt Jr. was to get hurt tomorrow and end up on the 60-day IL, the Royals' chances of winning this season decrease dramatically, right? For the Detroit Tigers, if Tariq Skubal ends up with Tommy John tomorrow, their chances of making the postseason change dramatically. So if everything stays the same and everybody's healthy, I'm with you on it being a two-horse race. That's just never sustainable. Somebody's going to get hurt. Some big name's going to go down. Somebody's going to miss some time, and it's going to dramatically change the makeup of what the AL Central will look like when we get into August and September.
Well, Kwan's a stud. We know he can hit.
Yeah, Stephen
play
Kwan,
great
man.
in the outfield. The power numbers really haven't been there as much for Kwan, even though he's got 4 home runs this year. He's hitting 333. All right, Jose Ramirez is hitting 265. And then it's kind of a wasteland. Who's the next best hitter? Carlos Santana, he's hitting 219. Again, I understand the Royals not exactly not going to cover off the ball either, but they're starting to come around. I just look at the Cleveland lineup, and I think about, Jose Ramirez leaves that team. It would be more significant, I think, than Bobby Witt Jr. with the Royals, because I think the Royals have other hitters that would have to step up and make the difference. I can't say the same thing about Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland's an interesting lineup. They seem to have found a guy recently in Angel Martinez in center field. He's hitting 324, limited ABs. He's only had 68 times at the plate, but hitting 324 is pretty impressive. Kyle Manzardo is a guy that's never going to wow you with his batting average, but he's got a ton of pop. 8 long balls, which is top 10 in the American League. He's got 20 ribbies so far this year. So I agree with you. Jose Ramirez brings a lot to this Guardians team, certainly from a leadership standpoint and consistency and what he brings as that guy at the hot corner. But without Bobby Witt Jr., this Royals team is a 220, 230 ball club batting average wise. I look at it from the standpoint of I think Bobby Witt Jr. provides more offensively for the Royals than Jose Ramirez does for the Guardians.
I just look at Jose and think that's all that team. I understand people look at the Royals and think Bobby Witt Jr. I agree.
Right.
I mean, obviously they're both special players, but you think Vinny would step things up a little bit. Sal Perez, you know what he can do. Not doing it right now, but he's starting to come around a little bit more at the plate. I just think the Royals would have more pieces going forward than if a Jose Ramirez, which he doesn't ever get hurt. Which he did get hurt the other day, but he went back and played. So who knows? Kwan's a stud too. I get that. But.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Somebody in the text line just mentioned this, and I wanted to bring it up. Who are we to discount or count out the Minnesota Twins already? I know that they're a team. They're 5 games below 500. They're sitting at 4th in the division. But this Twins team has some interesting sides to it as well, because they've got some guys on their roster that are not hitting the ball well at all right now. I mean, Harrison Bader's hitting 280, which I think is, right around his ballpark for his career. I mean, Byron Buxton's hitting 260 right now. Carlos Correa is hitting 216. Can we honestly sit here and say that when we get into August and September, Carlos Correa is still going to be a 216 hitter? I don't see it. That team is too talented. He is too talented a player, in my opinion, to continue to hit 216. He looks to me like he's 260, 270, 280 hitter for his career. So I think that the Twins are going to get better. And I don't know. I just continue to believe that this division is a lot more open than we think it is, although I will 1,000% agree with you. On paper, through the first 6 weeks of the year, I don't care what the record says, the Tigers and the Royals are the 2 best teams in this division, and I believe that those are 2 teams that are probably in the top 8 or 9 best teams in Major League Baseball so far.
Based on how the Royals have been playing, too, it's a nice time to be playing against the Chicago White Sox, where you get to take advantage of
America's booty call, baby.
Of how bad they are as a baseball team.
Yeah, just in the midst of an 11 of 13, and then you get 4 games on the schedule at home against the Chicago White Sox. Yeah, you'll take that every day of the week, man.
Shutout after shutout, maybe trying to keep that streak going, Bink, a little bit,
12 of 13, they beat them last year. So you thought, okay, where these wins going to come from? I thought maybe Minnesota. Again, Minnesota's so up and down, man. They're a streaky team. They'll win 7 in a row, and they'll lose 7 in a row. That's just who they are. There's no consistency with that team, so I don't.
There's a little bit of that with the Royals right now,
no,
right?
I get it, but Minnesota, whenever you expect them to be really good, they're bad.
Yeah.
And whenever you expect them to be bad, they're really good. So that was the concern this year is, okay, they're going to be much better than people think they are, but I'm not buying into the Twins. Or the Royals beat them 3 out of 4, and I get it. Small sample size, go with the marathon, but you play them 13 times during the year. And I thought, well, White Sox would be better. Believe it or not, the White Sox have 5 wins and 7+ runs. That's tied for most in baseball. You would never imagine that. They're still not a very good team. They do think they pitch better than they did last year, but where are those wins going to come from? You got to bully a team. Last year, the Royals finished 1 game ahead of Seattle to make the postseason. There was 12 wins against the White Sox.
Thank you, Chicago.
So where's that coming from? And Minnesota, they beat them 3 out of 4. They had a losing record against the Twins last year. The Royals are 6 and 7. I think that's going to be flip-flopped this year, so maybe those wins come against them. But the Chicago White Sox are playing perfect for you, man. This was the team. The Royals are struggling last year at the beginning of the season. They go to Chicago, sweep the White Sox, and go on a 7-game winning streak. But the White Sox, that 3 a.m. girl, man, guaranteed 100% you're going home with her. That's the Chicago White Sox. And speaking of the White Sox, their City Connects, you seen their new ones? They had the South Side ones.
The Bulls tribute.
Yeah, which is a joke. The fact that crap old team wears Bulls gear pisses me off, to be honest with you. I'm not a Bulls fan either. But here's the thing, though. If you have a team like the White Sox that put the S in suck, they set a major league record for losses. They're not good. And they're representing and kind of honoring the Bulls team. Like, that's a team that won 6 rings, man. That team had Michael Jordan. And you're telling me that team is wearing red and black on Friday nights honoring the Chicago Bulls? You can't do it, man.
I know, but it's not like the Bulls are playing great either now, though.
It doesn't matter. It's honoring
the White Sox used to be good, though.
Yeah, but it's honoring the great Bulls of the past. I'm not just doing it for the current Bulls.
The White Sox used to be good. You're correct. What year was that they used to be good?
2005?
Yeah,
or 1917 when they won their second most recent World Series.
In fairness, when's the last time the Bulls were good? Derrick Rose, but they didn't win anything.
It's honoring the world champion Bulls that won 6. And the only time they didn't win is when Michael Jordan was going and playing baseball.
I know that, but
for the White Sox organization, I may add. So it kind of does make a little bit of sense that they're paying homage.
NASCAR, by the way.
I don't have a problem with MJ at all, or I don't have a problem with the White Sox doing it.
Why? They're representing a good team, a championship caliber team, and you get these clowns wearing their jerseys, honoring the team.
You know what I think the White Sox...
Why would you want that? If the Chiefs, you want someone really bad to represent the Chiefs? Like, they've won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls. Do you want a really bad team representing the Chiefs? I'd be pissed. Like, if the Royals were still in their 100-loss streak and they were wearing, like, Royal or Chief City Connects,
they're paying homage. They're all right.
They're paying homage, but they're bad.
Yeah, there's multiple, right?
I see
Jordan's connection with the White Sox. The owner, somebody just mentioned in the text line, and I was getting ready to bring that up. Jerry Reinsdorf owns both organizations.
I understand that. Have the Cubs do it.
And what else were the White Sox supposed to do? Just invert their jerseys and go with an all-black look, pay homage to the Black Sox? I think that would have been fun. That would have been fitting.
L's on the front of their jersey.
There you go.
I mean, they
honor what they do best. Losing games.
They are very good at that.
Why would the team do that, though? Like, you're not going to... Yeah, we're going to put L's on our jersey because we stink.
It makes more sense than Bulls.
Yeah, I guess there's some fairness.
L's makes a lot more sense than the Bulls.
Hey, look, I totally get it. I totally get it. We're going to switch transitions real quick because I saw this bank and Logan, and I think you guys will appreciate this as college football.
And I know they're owned by Reinsdorf. Stop that. I've been in an elevator for Reinsdorf. Very nice guy, by the way.
As college football connoisseurs and people who watch college football a lot, Brett Yormark got a contract extension. I don't know if you guys saw this, through 2030. Makes complete sense. He's really kind of saved the Big 12 in terms of his aggressiveness to get the Arizona schools, and Colorado and Utah, which want to leave the Big 12, but forget Utah, honestly, at this rate, because they can try to go somewhere else. It's not going to work out for them as well as it could with the Big 12 and BYU as well. But is there anything that, based on the future of it, he's set them up for success, but is it enough to try to salvage, to keep them afloat? For now it is, I think, but the way that we're looking in college football, like him getting this extension makes complete sense. He's done a great job. Is there anything else that he needs to keep doing to keep the Big 12 where they're at in terms of their position with the rest of the power conferences?
That's an interesting question. I think that what Brett Yormark, has done such a good job of is he's really attacked sports that maybe the other leagues don't look at as much. Like the Big Ten and the SEC and even the ACC to some extent are so hyper-focused on what's going on the gridiron. College football, right? It is the bell cow. It is the money maker in college athletics nowadays. But I'll give Brent Yormark a ton of credit for finding schools that are strong in other sports, right? Finding a program like Houston, which doesn't traditionally have a really strong football program, but their basketball program, outstanding, as evidenced by the fact they just won a national championship. Their baseball program is traditionally very, very good. BYU has a strong basketball program, and their football has been all right. Utah is strong in football. Arizona State are traditionally basketball or Arizona State baseball sort of programs, wrestling. So I think, you're finding programs that fly a little bit more under the radar because their football isn't their coup de grace of their athletic departments. And so you bring those guys in, and it allows for, the Big 12 has become the best basketball conference in America, with the addition of some of these other schools, with the addition of BYU and Houston, along with already having programs like Kansas and Iowa State and others. It's just raised the profile of basketball, and that allows you to supplement a little bit of what's going on the football side, because the Big 12 knows better than to believe that they were going to get Oregon or USC or UCLA to come play in the Big 12.
Especially
it just didn't make sense football-wise, monetarily. It didn't make sense. You dance with the one that brought you, and the Big 12 is a basketball conference, and they're rolling with it that way.
And thank God for Arizona State making the playoffs. in football?
Well, I mean, somebody was going to. It just happened to be Arizona State. Like, I mean, it would have been Iowa State, or it would have been them. I'm sure Logan appreciates it was not Iowa State.
I do. I very much appreciate that it wasn't Iowa State. That might have put me in a coma if Iowa State would have made the college football playoff before Iowa did.
The fact too that he's done a really nice job because everybody thought once Oklahoma and Texas left, holy crap, this is the end of the Big 12. But he jumped on the Arizona schools quickly, and I mean, the way that it was interesting.
Which is good because they were just sitting out there. They actually wanted to come here years ago, but they didn't pay attention to that. Bowlesby just kind of.
And them getting Colorado back in the Big 12 was also
nice.
I think traditionally a lot of people would love to see Nebraska, of course, back in the Big 12, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But him being able to grab the bull by the horns and say, you know what, Texas is gone, Oklahoma's gone, and we're not going to go down like this. This is not how we're not going to go out like the Pac-12 did. We're going to figure this thing out. And you know, for better or for worse, they might not be as talented as a college football conference, but from top to bottom, they're one of the deepest conferences in college football in terms of competitiveness. Like, you could have gone 1 through 9 last year, and there were competitive games all across the board. Not the most talented teams, but it's one of the most interesting conferences. I think it's funny. Some people call it America's Conference because tradition, good rivalry still, a realignment to survive, but they're bringing schools into the conference that have traditionally been with them beforehand.
The SEC is America's Conference.
The ACC is?
SEC.
No,
not the ACC.
The America's Conference is the Big 12. The South's Conference is the SEC.
You look at the NFL draft numbers.
The SEC is America's.
No, it has nothing to do with the NFL. It's not about pro stuff. It's about
the SEC sets the bar.
stuff.
Yormark is great for the Big 12. Yormark has done great because he understands the forward thinking. He brings in money. He understands the way sports are going. He has that background. Bowlesby was an idiot.
Yeah.
You don't let Texas and Oklahoma just all of a sudden leave and you didn't hear about it. How does that happen?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even hear it.
Money is the reason it happened.
How
Revenue
can you not hear that they're leaving? I mean, that was insane.
And you can look back on this in we'll see how things go for Texas and for Oklahoma and specifically, but for a school like Texas A&M, they're good, but Texas A&M legitimately right now you could say doesn't really have a shot at winning the SEC like they do. But do they have a really good shot at winning the SEC? Not really. Oklahoma,
they run edge rushers.
Not really. I mean,
you should know this, Drew.
I get why you go, and it's for money, and that's why Texas and Oklahoma went, and why Texas A&M went. But if you look at your opportunities to win and take advantage of it now with everybody making the playoff, I don't know if they'll regret it necessarily. But you could look back and say, well, maybe we could have a few extra conference titles, a little bit more to add to our name when we're going to recruit guys, as opposed to if we were in the SEC and just say, hey, we're in a big conference. We go 7-5 every year. We're Oklahoma. You know, we go 8-4. We're in the SEC. They could be saying we're 10-2 and we're Big 12
it's tough to say after
the
SEC and football and the way they played basketball this year.
That's fair.
I know. I'm just saying that I think that there's reason for schools like Kansas and Kansas State, I think really in particular, to be really happy with where they're at because, especially football-wise, K-State is always, from now on until, as far as I'm concerned, Chris Kyman leaves, they're going to be in the Big 12 title conversation in football. They're always going to be there, and that's something I would love.
But if you don't start making the playoffs, you have issues. Because with the expanded playoffs, you run out of excuses.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, no question. I think, going back to the America's Conference thing, I believe the SEC is America's Conference in the same way that the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. Because if you're the SEC or you're an SEC fan, you love him. Everybody else hates your guts. Just throwing that out there.
The
from
biggest
the word
difference
go.
is they actually win stuff. So that's the biggest difference.
That
the
also
SEC
is
and the
true.
Cowboys.
I mean, do they though?
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue the SEC point a little bit if we're talking
Did
beyond.
the SEC win the national championship in football this year?
In basketball, they did.
No. As a matter of fact, did they even make the Final Four? I don't think they did. Did the SEC make the Final Four?
So you had
Texas did. I'm sorry.
Texas,
yes.
yeah. So you had
That was it.
Texas. Texas is in the SEC. Sure.
Technically.
If we want to go that route, I'm just saying. I'm just a Big Ten guy throwing shade, so that's just
I'm also
me,
a Big Ten guy. I think you can make a case, Logan, that after Alabama and Georgia, I mean.
Yeah, and somebody in the text line said you're making the discussion, the argument about Texas A&M, like, will they really ever have what it takes to win the SEC? Somebody says, is there a similar argument to be made for the Missouri Tigers?
100%. If you were Missouri, you would be. If Missouri was sitting where they were, and then we're going to have to go to a break because we're definitely late. If Missouri was in the Big 12, they would be the favorite probably year after year after year.
With Eli
Right there
Drinkwitz
with
and what
K-State.
this Mizzou team
Right
has
there
done
with K-State
football-wise,
they would be,
I
I think.
agree.
I can't wait for this football season. It's going to be crazy. Coming up next, though, 20% through the season. Have our expectations wavered at all for the Kansas City Royals?
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Graduation season is always so busy around our house, and when we have important celebrations, we trust Hy-Vee. They're my go-to partner for all of our family celebrations, and Hy-Vee can help you with your graduation party planning. They have party trays, personalized cakes, cookies, floral arrangements, party decor, and so much more. Plus, you can leave all the prep work and messy cleanup to Hy-Vee with full-service catering for any size celebration. Choose from a wide range of menu options to suit your style and your budget, only at Hy-Vee.
This Mother's Day, treat all of the moms in your life like a queen. No, wait, an empress with a little help from Hy-Vee. Surprise her with a stunning floral arrangement or choose from dozens of gift cards for some retail therapy. Then bring the whole family to brunch at the Hy-Vee Market Grill. Just $24.99 for adults, $7.99 for children 6 to 12, and kids 5 and under eat free. Just one stop for endless options to crown her queen for the day. Only at Hy-Vee.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Welcome back to Cody and Gold. Jay Binkley, Logan Weber, Drew Nixon. What the hell is this?
Some bomb-back music.
It's
nice.
Pretty.
It's just like little vibes.
Chill. Yeah.
It's just some vibes music.
Brings the blood pressure down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like love talk.
It brings the blood pressure down as you're choking down a Red Bull over there.
It's right, Logan. It's a PED. Seriously. For radio.
Oh, okay.
I'm totally PED. It's not Blue Chew. Mr. Chew It and Do It.
That's right. Chew it and do it.
Turn oh no into oh yeah. Drew Nixon passes him on G Gears.
That was a nice
He passes
little
him out
Kool-Aid Man
before
reference.
G Gears. He passes him out before every show. He gets us ready to go. Here's your Blue Chew, Bank. There you go.
That's right.
Get Logan his.
Get fired up for the show, Bank.
That's right. We had NASCAR this weekend, man.
We do.
The Crown Jewels coming to Kansas Speedway. You been out there, Logan?
I have been to. I haven't been out there in, man, probably 12, 15 years.
Really?
It's been a while. But like when I was a kid growing up, like junior high, early high school, my parents and my aunt and uncle got really into NASCAR. And they used to go all the time. They would go out to the nationwide race and the NASCAR race out at the Speedway. I have never actually been to a NASCAR race.
Oh, like a cup race?
I've been out to Kansas Speedway 5 or 6 different times for the nationwide series, back when it was the nationwide series, but I've never been to the NASCAR series, which is kind of interesting. I've been out to Newton and watched a couple of nationwide races out there, but my parents used to go all the time. They go to the NASCAR races at Kansas Speedway. They went to the Indy 500 a couple of times, and I was a huge Matt Kenseth fan when I was a kid.
My 17, that's right.
Yes, my bus number was number 17. So that's the bus I rode growing up, and it was a yellow number 17. Matt Kenseth drove the yellow number 17. I became a Matt Kenseth fan because of that.
Don't criticize his fandom because of that, Bink, you know?
No, I'm not. I criticize yours, Drew, obviously. What's better, Indy 500 or a NASCAR race?
As much as
Seeing as you're from Indy.
As much as I might be ashamed to say this, I've never been to an Indy 500 race. I've never been to an Indy 500 before. I've covered it. Actually, I won a contest in high school, and I went and covered it. I've been to practice. I've been to quali. Never been to an Indy 500. Only been to Brickyard 400s at Indy.
But you have not missed a NASCAR race at the Speedway, I don't think.
Here in
you
Kansas?
go all the
No.
time. I love it, too.
I've gone every time.
Well, private
And I've
driver
loved it.
leaders. It's fun, man. It's one of those experiences. And
You feel the thunder in your chest? Oh, yeah. It's great.
they take care of everybody. It's just a different sport. And especially, they want their sport covered. They appreciate it. I mean, they'll stand down there during national anthem with the drivers, be in the pit. But they want their sport covered. And once you have access, the drivers are great, man. They're freaking awesome.
I mean, it might be the best fan experience as well in terms of you can bring your own beer, you can bring your own snacks, you can bring anything that you want, essentially, as long as it's not a weapon, in there to eat, snack on, drink, whatever it is. They don't ask you anything. They don't ID you. They just check the bag. Okay, you're good. Go on in.
You know, at Kaufman, you can actually bring food in. I don't know if people knew that. Yeah, I think you can bring food into
Are you
Kaufman
sure
State.
about
Yeah,
this?
pretty sure about that.
So when I go to the K next this year, I'm going to try to bring
Look
food
it up.
in.
Look at a text on. I'll tell you, but I'm pretty sure you can bring food into Kaufman Stadium.
Okay.
Not beer.
Yeah, you can bring food in a clear plastic bag no larger than 1 gallon, and the food should resemble individual portions. Additionally, you can bring in 1 liter or smaller unopened plastic water bottles.
There you go, Drew.
That is good to know. My wife and I are taking my mother and father-in-law and my brother and sister-in-law and my niece and nephew to the Royals game on Sunday. So that's good to know.
You can't do it, I don't think, at Chiefs games. I don't think you can.
Yeah, because it's the NFL, Bink.
Yeah.
I always thought they should do beer for free and charge you $20 to pee. Like, just keep giving you all the free beer. And the minute you have to go into the bathroom, it's $20.
But hey, people still pay the money.
I think
it's like those bars you used to go into. You pay like $20, right? And they put a bracelet on.
There you go.
And the minute you broke the seal, they cut that little bracelet off.
It's not going to stop until people just stop going, Bink, which is not going to happen.
Yeah,
well, I think people wear the pins.
The problem is that there's going to be those people who are going to take full advantage of that, and inevitably the workers at Arrowhead are going to end up having to clean up excrement.
Text line 913-586-7965. Would you go to Arrowhead for free beer if you had to wear the pins? Like, would you wear the pins and get free beer?
Wear a diaper.
913-586-7965. Would you wear the pins
it's only
if there was free beer at Arrowhead?
It's 10:40, and we're asking this question.
It says, are we going to a football game or conducting a filibuster? I'm confused. Why are we wearing diapers?
I'm curious. I'm curious how many people would wear the pins if they got free beer at Arrowhead.
I don't know. I'm sure now people are going to text, and I'm sure some people would.
Somebody in the text line just said they were at a Royals game and a woman was eating a Chipotle bowl. Do they serve Chipotle? I don't think they serve Chipotle.
If it's one
serving,
serving,
right?
If it's one serving,
that's crazy.
But what's considered one
Shout
serving?
out to the Royals for letting you do that.
A small person eating one serving, or a very large person eating one serving? Because that's two different things.
That is a fair point.
Somebody said there would be diapers everywhere on the upper level.
Yes, there would be. Jeez. I'm for that. I think it's great.
So do you think there'd be a better chance that they sell out?
They always sell out.
No, I'm talking like a Royals. If we're talking at the K.
If the Royals allowed people to drink free, but they had to wear a diaper.
Do you think they would be more likely to sell out?
Probably.
Isn't that sad? Speaking of the Royals.
People like beer, man.
Speaking of the Royals. So we're through 20% of the season, a little bit over 20% of the season. Logan, you mentioned it a little bit earlier. I don't think my expectations have changed. I don't know if yours has been either. I'd love to hear your opinion on the text line. What do you guys think in terms of expectation for the Royals going in? I think mine was, at least the three of us on the, like Alex and Cody as well, was compete for the division, make the playoffs for sure, maybe even win the division. I think was the expectation, or I think that might have been the goal for each of us. Obviously still attainable at this rate. I don't think things have changed based on how the last week and a half has gone. Before, we were the boat was getting rocked a little bit, but now I think we're back on track to fit those expectations, at least on my side of things. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
Yeah, I would say my expectations have not changed. I said going into the year, I thought this was an 86 to 88 win baseball team. I always go back to this stat. In the last 50, 60 years of Major League Baseball, there have been either 14 or 15 instances of a team winning 30 games or more year over year, right? The Royals going from 56 and 23 to 86 wins last year. Of those 14 or 15 teams, only 2 of them actually improved again in that third season. After winning 30 or more games from the previous year, that following season to actually improve upon it. So I went with an 86-win season because I'm like, that's the same record you had a year ago, right? You're not better. You're not worse. I don't think there was anything that the Royals did during the offseason that really shifted the momentum all that much. Although Carlos Estevez has absolutely shocked me to begin this year. I knew he was an all-star caliber closer, but he has been so damn good. And Steven Cruz and some of these other guys we did not see coming have been so good. But you've also seen, at least through the first 6 weeks of the season, some regression from some guys, right? Obviously, Hunter Renfroe, the Royals would be better off just DFAing him and saving a roster spot. Salvador Perez is hitting the ball better now, but he got off to a slow start. Vinny got off to a slow start. Michael Massey, after hitting nearly 280 last year, is off to a slow start. So I think that you've seen some guys play above expectations and you see guys play below expectations, just like we talked about in the first segment. I am still completely comfortable with where I sit in this Royals team being an 86 to 88 win ball club. I still see the Guardians somewhere around 84 to 88 wins as well, and the Detroit Tigers, I see them probably around 86 to 91 wins even. And I think that the Tigers ultimately win the division. The Royals finish second and make the wild card. That's kind of where I saw it at the beginning of the year. My expectations haven't changed.
Well, the one thing about it is, yes, they didn't exactly light it up with the free agency, but can guys take the next step? Because I think Bobby Witt just go up another stratosphere. And unfortunately, Aaron Judge is sitting here hitting 414. So you think I could take over MVP, which I always thought he could, but it's going to be tough. Aaron needs to come back to the pack just a little bit from what he's doing, but no question about it. But Vinny, I thought Vinny would take the next step. Clearly, this wasn't the year for that, but I love what he did last year. The Royals were the only team in baseball that had 3 guys when they hit 70 RBI last year. Mm-hmm. They were the only team that had 3 guys over 80 RBI. The only team that had 3 guys over 90 RBI. And they would have been for over 100, but Vinny got hurt and ended with 97. Yeah. Clearly would have had over 100 ribs. Him, Perez, and Bobby Witt Jr. I like that. And this team now with Renfroe and what you see, it's going to be different because they're going to be buyers. They're going to get better. Like this team that you see is going to get better with the bats. I think the progression starts to happen. As you said, they're hitting 288 as a team in the last 12 days. It's second best mark in baseball. I think they'll get hotter and hotter. You saw the 7 home runs in Baltimore. They hit a franchise record, which is crazy that this team hit a franchise record in home runs. That's insane. Saw going down, sweeping the Rays. Yes, 2 of the 5 wins where they've had over 8 runs or 4 runs have come against Colorado, which is fine, keeping the bad teams down. But the pitching, I'm not worried about. I think the pitching is going to continue to be excellent. That's what you got to win with. As Dayton Moore says, that's the currency of baseball is what the pitching is. And Noah Cameron, can you flip him eventually for a hitter? Maybe you don't. Maybe you keep on team. Kyle Wright, I'll give people, hey, keep an eye on this guy. This guy led Major League Baseball in wins 2 years ago. He's been hurt. It was nice the Royals went and picked him up, but that's kind of a piece that people are talking about. That is a very good piece, Kyle Wright, that could be part of this rotation, to be honest with you, and definitely in this bullpen. But that guy was a stud with the Atlanta Braves. The Royals took a chance on him because that's what you have to do if you're the Kansas City Royals. You got to take a chance on certain guys that they can come back and be a premium guy. And Kyle Wright's one of those guys that had his first start for Northwest Arkansas a couple of days ago. But keep an eye on that guy because he's only going to join this team at some point.
Right.
But they're going to get better. So what you see now, this team will get better. And that's one good thing about the Royals. I am about 88 wins this year. I just look at a team that's going to continue to get better. And I think JJ will kind of look at this team and realize what he's got and say, we got to pick up runs. We got to maybe fast track Jack or whatever you got to do to get him to the major leagues. But just understanding, but you got to know when to push all in. It's like Billy Beane with the A's. He pushed all in. It didn't work out. Remember the Royals beat him in that wild card game, but he had pushed all in because they went out and got everybody to be on that team. And, to some extent, the Royals kind of did too because they went through 5 left-handed pitchers when they built up like Cueto and Zobrist and that for the Royals. Yeah. But they, in a way, pushed all in. Yes. And it worked out because they won. And that's the ultimate thing. If you're going to push all in, you got to win. But I can see the Royals understanding what the window is because the window in professional sports can close really quick and do what the Chiefs do and continue to be good every year. That's the asterisk. That doesn't happen. Look at the 49ers. I mean, there was a team that had their window open paying Brock Purdy, the last pick in the draft, so you could pay everybody else because you're not paying your quarterback anything. Well, now you got to pay your quarterback. So now things start to change. And now you sit there and get rid of a lot of talent in the offseason. So that window closed. The 49ers are right there, man. They went to those 2 Super Bowls against Chiefs. They were right there, but they didn't kick it in. They didn't do what needed to be done. They didn't win it. Chiefs did. Yeah. They didn't, so they're changing. And I look at the Royals the same way. Like, all right, there's this window with this great pitching. Are you ever going to have pitching this good again? And you got to tell yourself, maybe not, because it could be the best pitching this franchise has ever seen. And you have to take advantage of that. Like, you have to realize this isn't coming around anymore. There's still a small market team, the only small market team to win a World Series. So it can be done because they proved it could be done. Those 15 Royals are celebrating 10 years, proved it can be done.
No question.
So just kind of understanding who and what you are and then pushing all in when you have the opportunity. Because if you don't, you could be the Niners.
Yeah. The Niners are a good example of that. I hate to do this to you, Drew, but the Bengals are another good example of that. They've
been a disaster in the draft and everything else. Didn't make the playoffs.
Well, they had their window.
Disaster.
They made the Super Bowl. They had their window open before they had to pay Jamar and T. Higgins and Joe Burrow, and now those three guys are eating up nearly half of your total salary.
And that was dumb.
Your defense has been completely and utterly decimated. I don't know what you're going to do with Trey Hendrickson.
Disrespected.
That's beside the point. Kyle Wright is an interesting case study because obviously the Royals have taken similar paths with other guys, right? They took a chance on a guy like Seth Lugo, who was traditionally a relief pitcher and has dealt with some pretty serious injuries throughout his career, dating back to when he was in college. And it's been an absolute hit, right? The Royals make a trade with the Texas Rangers at the deadline for Aroldis Chapman for Cole Reagans, a former high draft pick who had come off Tommy John surgery. Is it going to work? He might be a top 5 pitcher in all of baseball. 4 games this season with 10-plus strikeouts. There's no other starter in Major League Baseball that has more than 2. That is Cole Reagans to begin this season. He's become the ace on this staff. So Kyle Wright could be another one of those guys. And when you look at this Royals team, if they become buyers at the deadline, if they go for an outfielder, and I'm looking at a guy right now in an organization that is obviously not a winner, that is notorious for trading away top pieces rather than pay them, Kyle Stowers with the Miami Marlins. He's hitting .310 so far this season. That's top 15 in Major League Baseball. He's got 25 RBIs, top 15 in Major League Baseball. His OBP is at up over 380. He plays left and right field. That's a perfect corner outfielder. If you're comfortable with, Drew Waters in right, you got Isbell in center. You can put a guy like him in left field. He hits for average. He drives in runs. That could completely change the makeup of this team when you look at India hitting first, Bobby hitting second, Vinny third, Salvi fourth. You've got Michael right now hitting fifth, and a guy like Stowers hitting in the 6th hole. 1 through 6 of your lineup becomes very, very dangerous, very, very fast.
And the one thing I do like about this team, these 3-0 wins, you can look at them and say, let's get the White Sox, whatever. But it's just how tough they are, man. When you're scratching across and winning games that close, that margin of victory, can be taken away from you so quickly, but they're winning those games. It's like those Chiefs 1-point wins or 1-score wins. They were important because it showed the kind of team they were. It was tough makeup, mentally tough. So that stuff helps. By the way, the 10-plus strikeouts, this is the most games of 10-plus strikeouts in Royals history from Nick Capel from the Royals PR office. Kevin Napier leads the way with 21, but 275 games started. Zach Greinke has 9 games such, 222 games started. Cole Reagans already has 9. 51 games started. That is insanity.
He's almost got double-digit strikeouts in every 5th start of his career.
That's why
That's insane.
On Vern, whenever we do the lock, I always go with the plus strikeouts with Cole Reagans. Always find out where that number is, if it's +7, +8, whatever direction is, and go with that direction. By the way, the text line has responded, Logan, about the depends.
Seems like some people are on board. They're with you on this one, Bink.
It's never too early for a beer and depends. But, yes, I 100% would. I had to pay $15 for a tall boy yesterday. Sign me up for the diaper. So the people are willing to wear the diaper for free beer.
I haven't worn a diaper since I was potty trained, and I probably will not wear a diaper again until I am forced to by a doctor when I reach my elder years.
If it's free Coors Light, I might.
I'll be completely honest, and this, I may get some heat for this. I'm not much of a drinker. I talked about this on Friday with Cody when we brought in the folks over there, and they made us some coffee-inspired cocktails.
Cocktail hour,
yeah. I tried. I gave it my all, and I stomached as much of it as I could. But I'm just not a huge drinker. I'm just not.
You know who's really not big is Drew. Drew Nixon. Here's the thing about Drew. He will drink cocktails.
Okay.
But he doesn't drink beer. Matter of fact, not this 4th of July, but the previous 4th of July, Drew, I think, drank his first Coors Light when I was in here because he shot a Roman candle out of his butt, which is the first time he's ever shot a firework. And then he slammed the Coors Light the first time he's ever done it.
I didn't slam a Coors Light. I took a sip and poured the rest out and down the sink. And
but you shot a Roman candle.
I did shoot a Roman candle.
Out of your butt?
No.
Okay. Thanks for clarification.
I shot it right out. I shot it outside, right out there.
You went right out of here and shot it
in the parking lot.
And he drank a beer the same day. He's like hitting all these marks.
And I felt the exact same as I did. I felt no more American than I did before. So sorry to all those people who said yes. I said that I would feel that way.
You didn't hear the American flag screech while you were drinking that beer and shooting the Roman candle?
Should have Joey Chestnut on.
You need to shoot some mortar shells. That'll make you feel American. I assure you. Okay. I worked a fireworks stand for like 6 years when I was in high school and college, so I can set you up. I know what's good and what's not when it comes to shooting off fireworks on the 4th.
We had J&M Fireworks endorsing the draft coverage. It was actually a fireworks company doing our draft coverage. It's awesome. Big thanks to them. Coming up next, we'll talk some Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, the Chiefs Red Howard coming up at 11:30. But next, we'll look at the Chiefs because that's the first day of Phase 2 for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then Phase 3 will be the OTAs and stuff like that. But since we're a week away from it, your favorite Chiefs draft choices, which rookie could start for this team next?
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Cosentino's food stores are celebrating 77 years of serving Kansas City. Come in today for incredible anniversary savings across the store. You'll find some of the hottest prices of the year, now through May 20th only. From fresh produce to family favorites, don't miss the unbeatable prices at every Cosentino's location. For 77 years, it's been our family's honor to serve yours, and we're just getting started.
Why do other agents have such a hard time selling your property? It's because they don't know how to price it correctly. But we know someone who does. Dawn Sharp and her team. Experience the Dawn Sharp team difference for yourself. The Sharp Homes team can give you options. Do you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold? Contact them to discuss their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Google them at Sharp Homes Team or pay them a visit at homesforsaleandkc.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Did storms hit your area? Looking for answers on the impact it made to your roof? Then it's time to schedule a zero-pressure, in-depth inspection with Century Roofing's trusted roofing experts. We will determine if enough damage exists to warrant filing a claim. See for yourself why Century Roofing has been voted Best of Johnson County for the 3rd year in a row. Trust the pillars of strength for 35 years. KC-based and female-owned. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Guys, don't waste your time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit our TRT experts today at the Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. Treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted with the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. You're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start your prescription treatment. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Legacy Box is offering a 60% discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/value, and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value for 60% off. legacybox.com/value.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Take me out to my TV on FanDuel Sports Network. Yeah, yeah. Royals games, announcers, and more Royals games. Did I mention they have the Royals? Stream now.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans, and this is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Royals baseball.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
And welcome back to Loveline. Jay Binkley, Logan Weber, Drew Nixon.
Yeah, somebody in the text line earlier, when we were coming out of the last break, called it panty dropping music.
That's Chili's, my friend. And also
music, not a restaurant.
You know, it's up to number 3 now. I heard Carrington talking about
really?
the top 5 restaurants in America sit down. Number 1 was Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, Texas Roadhouse is popular.
It was Olive Garden, but it passed it. Olive Garden is 2. Applebee's, I think, is 4, believe it or not. Or Chili's was 3, I think. Then Applebee's, and then Buffalo Wild Wings. The text line is asking me a very important question, Drew, from the 816. Has Drew been to Waffle House? I said I don't know, but I'll ask him.
Yeah, I've been to a Waffle House.
Okay.
I like Waffle Houses. If I go to a breakfast spot that's not local, if it's like a chain, it's Waffle House.
Weren't you giving me a hard time that I booked like Valentine's Day there?
I didn't. I don't know if it was I think I gave you a hard time because there's better places to go on Valentine's Day than a Waffle House.
I can't think of one.
I would say.
My question to you, Drew, you've been to a Waffle House.
Correct.
What time of day did you go to this Waffle House? Because I think that's an important
So I haven't been
distinction
only
to
one
make.
time. I've been multiple times. I would say I've been there anytime from traditional like 8:30 breakfast to like 1 a.m.
1 a.m. or 2 a.m. it gets
That's
pretty.
when you need to go to Waffle House.
I've been at both times.
I'm
I've been
sorry. If you're going to Waffle House, it needs to be between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m. Because that is when Waffle House is at its Waffle House-ist.
Did you know Gus Malzahn used to go after every game at Auburn? He went to Waffle House after every game. That was his staple. He would always be at Waffle House.
Well, and Scott Frost, head coach at Troy, head basketball coach at Troy, recruits players that only go to Waffle House. Like
And you
I think
should.
it's a thing. That was a story that came out during the tournament.
You know they
have
have
to
their
go
own
to Waffle House.
album?
Who does?
Waffle House. They've got their own album.
Yes, yeah.
And they have a jukebox and their song. They have a theme song. They've got
You've had
everything.
me play the song before, yes.
One of the strangest moments of my life, I was at a Waffle House. It's like 11, it was like 11:30 midnight, and we're eating, and I watched as outside in the parking lot of said Waffle House, I watched a group of people steal the back tires off of a Honda Civic. I am not making that up. I watched them like a NASCAR pit crew. 4 people converge on this Honda Civic, and in a matter of probably a minute to a minute and 15 seconds, they jacked the back of the car up, rolled it off of there, and took these and just left. Just threw it in the back of like an old humding pickup, tooled off down the road. I was
you could have said Valentine's Day, Logan.
That was one of the stranger ones I've ever seen.
Bink, I don't think Valentine's Day would be on a top 20 of my places to go on Valentine's Day, a Waffle House.
Well, you're in the love stuff now.
Bink, I don't think
You're going through
ever
a
be
phase.
that
You're
way.
going through a love stuff phase. You haven't been married that long. You'll probably get divorced soon. But was it 5? You ain't 5 years, have you?
No, not 5 years. I've known.
Does she like tigers?
We've known each other. She does like tigers. We've known each other for more than 5 years. We've known each other for almost 8 years now.
How long have you been married?
I've been married for a little over 3.
I've been married for close to 2 years. My wife and I have known each other for almost 11 years.
Wait,
both of you guys
Logan,
are on the fast
I was
track
gonna
to
say,
divorce.
Logan, watch out because Bink is notorious for these comments. He thinks that everybody's going to get divorced who's newly
I think it is now more than half the country is.
He thinks Rob is going to get divorced, and he got married last year.
Yep. I've been to a lot of weddings and a lot of divorce parties.
Divorce parties?
Yeah, divorce party. I had
Who's
one.
hosting divorce parties?
I've had one.
That's what I'm saying.
It was called the Bitches Gone Party. It was fantastic. We had a kegger, burgers,
Are
Logan.
you even
we had
able
the
to
whole...
say that? Should I dump it? Because I don't even know in that context. I think that context.
You can say the B word.
In that context, I don't think so.
Can you? Because then you just called it the B word.
Well, look,
Then cut it, Drew.
I did.
Be a
I
wuss
already
about
did.
it.
I went ahead and I don't want to get in trouble, nor do I want you to get in trouble.
I've listened to your show. You guys cuss from time to time.
I know, but it's context is everything, and I don't know if this is the context that is allowed. And anyways, to quickly jump to another topic. It just sounds like you're ready to rant today. Like there have been moments on this show where you have ranted. You and I have worked together.
Yeah.
Where you've gone on rants when Gold.
Yeah.
And when you've been doing stuff with Gold, it's happened. When you've been co-hosting with Cody, it's happened now. Now Logan's hosting, and you're getting the full Jay Binkley experience here, Logan.
Hey, I like it. Somebody just asked me. Somebody just said, "Was that at the Waffle House in St. Joe?" No, it was the Waffle House on Front Street, right here in Kansas City.
Hell yeah.
Oh, is this recently?
No, this was. I was in high school.
Logan's a real dude, man. Logan's a real dude. And so are you, Drew, because you've been there too. I appreciate both of you for that.
Somebody else just said you don't go to Waffle House, you end up at Waffle House. Yeah,
you go.
Fair. Like going through the Taco Bell drive-through at 2 a.m. after you leave the bars. You just end up at the Taco Bell.
We used to walk through it in college.
What,
we were responsible.
Taco Bell?
We didn't drive through it. We
you
walked
walked
through it. Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't drink, so I was typically the designated driver.
Oh, you had been my friend.
The
man.
entire drive, the entire time through
Hey,
college.
Logan, what are you doing tonight, buddy?
All of a sudden, you're just going to get an influx of text messages on Friday and Saturday nights now from Bink. Hey, what are you doing tonight?
Yeah.
Nothing. You want to be my designated driver? Jeez.
Oh, geez. Somebody. What's the leading cause of divorce? Marriage.
Wedding cake. No.
Couple people in the text line throwing that joke out there. It's a good one.
I mean, in fairness, that's how it goes. You know?
Marriage 3-ring circus. Engagement ring. Wedding ring. Suffering, Drew.
Get your negativity out of here. You know, like I'm sure Logan is happily married. We
now.
We enjoy. All right. Anyways, let's move on to what you teased before the break. Favorite Chiefs draft pick? Who do you think is going to start week one?
First of all, we're a week away from where the draft was in Green Bay. Great job by them. They had over 600,000 people there. There was 200,000 people, Logan, their first night. They only have 105,000 in the whole town, right?
Yeah.
They had double the population the first night of the draft. It just shows you the draft is blowing up. It's going to be in D.C. They're
What'd you
expecting
call it?
over
One of
a
the
million
top
people.
5 sporting events?
I'd say top 3. If not, Okay, I don't want to really get into this.
I was going to say we're not going to do that. But
honestly, there's not many bigger. I know the text line will come up. Blah, 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 this.
Yeah.
No, it's not the NFL draft. Stop.
So out of all the Chiefs draft picks, I think there's a couple who realistically can start week one. Obviously, you're not looking at Brashard Smith as good as he might be, as contributive as he may end up. He ain't going to start week one unless there's a bevy of injuries. There's probably a list of
unless they sign Nick Chubb.
There's probably a list of 3 to 4 guys. I don't think they should sign Nick Chubb. Well, who are they going to get rid of, Bink?
Kareem Hunt.
They shouldn't have signed him in the first place. But I
would take Chubb over Hunt. I like Hunt a lot, but I'd take Chubb over Hunt.
I think everybody would, but why would they sign Kareem Hunt before the draft and then just cut him a couple weeks after the draft because they want Nick Chubb?
Football is business, and you constantly have to evolve and get better.
I don't know. But is there a pick in your guys' mind that, like you teased, Bink, is going to start week one? If it were me, I think Noah Williams has the best shot. Yeah. Josh Simmons, obviously, you have to consider if he's healthy. Jalen Royals, is he going to start? Probably not.
No, there's no way in hell. Like, I don't see Royals. I mean, it would take a lot to start over Worthy and Brown.
Not as an outside threat. I think that Jalen Royals has the best chance to start among these rookies as a specialty, as a specialist.
Okay.
Yes,
that's what I see. I see him having a unique possibility to be a guy that can make something happen in the return game. He's got plenty of experience in that, both in the kick return and punt return game. The problem with it is there's a lot of guys on this roster and even inside this rookie class that I think can be competent and even great return men. Brashard, Smith has experience with that dating back to his days as a receiver and as a running back. Noah Williams has experience as a returner. I think Noah Williams is a guy that you really need to focus on him as an outside corner because I want to see Trent McDuffie be able to slide back into the slot. He's an excellent outside corner, but he is the best slot corner in football.
I think if that's Fulton's where he's at, help that.
I don't disagree. Fulton is just he's been hit or miss throughout his career. He's got some consistency issues, And Williams as a third-round pick, I think, is an interesting thought. He led FBS in picks last year. He's got great size, he's good frame. I don't think you'll see Josh Simmons play this year. I'm not entirely convinced. Gillette could play sparingly. He could play some spot. But with Karlaftis and Amenahu, and God, I just keep hoping that we see something from Felix Anudike-Uzomah and that he wasn't just a waste of a first-round pick 3 years ago. So I think that he is more of a depth piece. I think Jalen Royals is a guy that you could see hitting the field before anybody else with any kind of consistency, but it's going to have to be in the return game, and he's going to have to beat out some other rookies, along with a guy who did great in that role last year, Nico Remigio, who, if he ends up losing the return game battle, Nico Remigio might be looking for a job.
Yeah, he might, and that's the thing. You get 3, quote, returners in the draft. Something Veach wanted to do. He wanted to get a receiver, running back. He said it several times, like, we want to get a guy that can also return because now the kickoff return comes to 35. So more teams are going to be kicking it to where it can be returning because you don't want to 30-yard line. You're fine with just kick it to the end zone 30 yards, but 35 you're still
you don't need a guy that's just going to catch it in the end zone and drop to a knee. You need somebody who is going to make a play with the ball in their hands.
I mean, the rookies. One of the reasons we're discussing it, phase 1's now done. The rookie minicamp has been done for the Chiefs. It's now on to phase 2. A lot of role players for this team, which is fine. I mean, that's fine. The Chiefs do a lot of rotations. Omar Norman Lott getting a rotation on defensive line. Gelati could be a starter. This guy's been close with Karlaftis, even going back. Jeff Brom was the head coach at Purdue for Karlaftis and at Louisville for Gelati and actually gave Gelati his phone number. So he's blowing it up now, their teammates. But Noah Williams, the guy, could actually start. He had the 7 picks this year that led the nation. 14 total ones. He had 9 pass breakups this year. He's had 3 returns the last 2 years. 1 interception return, 1 kickoff return, 2 fumble returns. The guy's a ball hawk, and that's something you want. That's a guy I can actually see challenged to start. Like Jalen Watson and company, I think he'd give him a run. So that's the one guy I can see start. Brashard Smith, I can see rotation piece. Bossa, that's your special teams guy right there. Your 4-phaser. Till he gets acclimated. If Tranquil gets hurt or Nick Bolton gets hurt, it's a Bossa that you expect to step in. But Noah Williams, the guy I can see started. Simmons, that's the one thing about it. I'll ask people your favorite pick. It's really weird. it is rare you hear the first pick of the Chiefs. Rare people say, well, Simmons my favorite pick. I don't know about you, Logan, but most people I've asked who your favorite pick is. That doesn't come right up.
Josh Simmons?
Does not, which is weird for first-round pick.
It is. Because it's a high-risk, high-reward pick, right? First of all, offensive line isn't sexy, right? In the first round, and as good as the Chiefs have been and as good as their skill positions have been, there's always going to be people within the fan base that want a skill position guy in the first round, right? I don't think, as good a talent as he is, and while I think he could do some good things in Chicago, I didn't think Luther Burden made sense for the Chiefs offense. But the number of people who were sitting there after the Chiefs trade back to 32 and Luther Burden's still there and the Chiefs pass, there's going to be people that are like, why didn't they take Luther Burden? I don't know, because you already have Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and Rashee Rice.
For this year.
I understand. But there's going to be wide receivers in next year's draft and the year after that and the year after that are going to be able to do those things. And getting a guy like Jalen Royals in the mid to late rounds who, if not for an injury that limited him to 8 games this year, might have gotten to the century mark in receptions and had back-to-back 90-plus catch, 1,000-yard seasons. I understand it's Utah State, but he is a tremendously talented guy. He runs a sub-440, 4.440. That's a great pick, a great value in that spot, and he's a good number 4 receiver for this Chiefs team. You still have Juju Smith-Schuster and other guys. You're fine there. So, yes, there was something to be said for it wasn't a sexy pick, and he's got the injury issue, and that's always going to make people nervous. But if he hits, you're not going to have to worry about who's blocking Patrick Mahomes' blind side until the day 15 decides to hang up his jersey and get his gold jacket in Canton.
See, picking at the end of the first round is actually interesting to me because there's guys that could be a game changer for this team. You rarely see that at the end of the first round. NFL GMs typically have 12 to 17 guys they give first-round grades to. This year, Veach said, 12 to 13 guys with a first-round grade. And a couple of years ago, it was more than that because McDuffie, they had a first-round grade on, started to slide in the 20s. They're like, hey, need to make a move and go get this guy because we had a first-round grade on Trent McDuffie, and they did. That's what they went and did. But when you're sitting here, you could have a game-changing type player. Obviously, Josh Simmons can be that guy. A little more work. Not a huge fan of the pick. Burden, I believe, the quality of talent that Burden is, you're not going to see that quality of talent that was still available at the end of the first round like they had. He's the best slot receiver in this draft. We talked about that when we did mocks. Like, if Burden's still there, we make the choice. Wanted Harmon and these other defensive guys, to be honest with you. But if that was the consternation, like if Burden was still there, we would think about it. We just have to go with that pick.
I think they view him in the same light as Rashee, though, because Rashee's very good out of the slot. And, like, in terms of what they do.
And he can muddy things up like Kelsey.
I think they feel like they've already got that sort of a player in Rashee Rice where if they were to get another guy in the first round, maybe it's somebody who's more of an outside guy, big, tall, fast, like not because Xavier Worthy's more of an outside guy, but he's not smaller height-wise even anyways. Like Jaden Higgins would have been a guy maybe that fit what the Chiefs quote-unquote need at wide receiver maybe a little bit more or could utilize a little bit more because they already got Rashee.
Yeah, I think Worthy's kind of misunderstood. I think that 4.21 time at the Combine didn't help for the kind of player he is because everybody's looking at, the Chiefs are going for the Combine hero. Xavier Worthy's a stud. He led Texas in receptions and yards for 3 straight years.
Yeah.
In 2 of those 3 years, he actually led them in touchdowns. He's more than a vertical route, more than 9 route. He could do a lot of things. People saw his toughness last year. It took him a while to develop. I didn't think the pressure was on him right away because of Hollywood Brown being here. And we actually mocked him back in September to the Chiefs a year ago, but then backed off that once they signed Hollywood Brown. Same guy.
Right.
Same type of guy. But all of a sudden with injuries to Hollywood and Rashee, it was like, step up, rookie.
Yeah,
like that pressure then went on the first-round pick.
Thrown way too much into a role he wasn't quite prepared for.
And he wasn't at the beginning of the year. Give me time and space when he'd be on the sidelines and couldn't quite get both feet in. He had those kind of issues, but he got better and better and better when the spotlight was on him. And I think there's been pressure on Rice, clearly. And I think there's pressure on Sky Moore, to be honest with you. Now, Jalen Royals didn't have any because he's behind all these guys. Mm-hmm. His biggest competition will be Juju in training camp.
Yeah, I agree. And going back to just briefly the Noah Williams pick, I like Noah Williams. I'm intrigued by his size and his fit in this offense. For Noah Williams, I think his biggest learning curve is going to be man versus zone coverage. Because when he was at Cal, Cal likes to utilize zone coverage, right? He was able to sit down, read receivers, read the quarterback's eyes, and make plays on the football. This Chiefs team, at least last year, was one of the NFL's leaders in man-to-man coverage, right? I mean, Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson played or man coverage over half the time, which is something he was not really accustomed to. I think Cal ran zone coverage like 70% of their snaps last year.
Which is interesting because it's a defensive back as their head coach.
Right.
Like Wilcox, that's where he cut his teeth. He's also been a defensive coordinator at Tennessee, Wisconsin, USC, you name it. So he's cut his teeth on defense.
A lot of zone coverage for Noah Williams during his time with the Cal Golden Bears. So having to transition from that to an offense like Steve Spagnuolo, which is a little bit more 50-50 and actually leans more towards man coverage, where he's going to have to be one-on-one with some really talented receivers
did do some
throughout
press
the
man
year.
at Cal. Press man and cover 3 was kind of where he looked. The funny thing is, these experts that say we can't tackle. Well, Dane Brugler, I respect like his work on the draft. Like his beast that he puts out, he was going on and on about what a great tackler Noah Williams was. We brought his coach on, Kevin Wilcox. He was talking about what a great tackler. He sets the edge. Now, he's not a guy that has any sacks. He's got everything else, but it's a guy in Spag's system I could see doing it.
He's a DB.
Yeah, but they love it. No team has blitzed more from the secondary than Spag's teams.
I know, but I think that's a Trent McDuffie thing.
That's a McDuffie. That's Jaden Hicks.
He's good at that.
Now
Shamari Connor.
Shamari Connor, Justin Reed prior to that, Tyrann Mathieu. Right. It's those safeties they bring down in the box and slot corners. You don't typically see a lot from the outside corners coming down into the box and making a play on the football. So somebody just said something about putting Noah Williams at safety to replace Justin Reed. That's not what's going to happen.
That's what Jaden Hicks is for.
Jaden Hicks is going to replace Justin Reed. He'll be the starter at strong safety from day one this year. That's why they drafted him out of Washington
I think
State
they see his
a year ago.
size over 6 foot, and they think, okay, natural safety, but he's more of a.
You can move
And Shamari Connor could play more safety down instead of nickel. He can kind of move back into his more acclimated role playing safety. And by the way, he did lead Virginia Tech in sacks one year that he was there, Shamari Connor. He does blitz the quarterback extremely well.
Yeah, totally. You guys want to get to a trash of the day?
Let's do it.
To trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
All right, so these challenges have been going on for a while, a variety of different things. You guys mentioned the Tide Pod challenge. I did not partake in that, by the way.
Kramer did.
Did he really?
I think. I used to call him Tide Pod.
Anyways, so there's a lot of challenges that have happened over, I don't know, the last, it seems like 5 years or so. 5 to 7 years. Anyways, there's another one. I don't know if anybody has heard of this, you guys have.
Yeah.
The Kool-Aid Man Challenge. New York police are looking for a group of teens responsible for conducting the Kool-Aid Challenge on a fence. The challenge is where a group of teens charge through a homeowner's fence and then run away. So there's video of this. You can find it on Twitter or on social media in some way, shape, or form. Literally, home fence line. A group of people just sprint through it, knock the whole fence down, all of it, and then get up and then run away.
I've heard this trend. It's a stupid trend. Why do kids need trends? I'm just curious about that. Like, who thought this was a good idea? Who thought this was a good idea?
Up. They want to become
this is
popular.
Dumb.
I know.
This is dumb.
I agree. It's dumb.
You obviously put a lot of blame on the kids, but there's also a tremendous amount of blame that needs to be put on the fact that they do this because people watch it. Because there's legitimately people that find this sort of crap entertaining, right? Like people that complain about reality TV.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate reality TV and the freaking Kardashians and this and that. Yeah. Well, it's obviously on your television set for a reason because millions and millions of people are watching Snooki get into an argument with somebody on Jersey Shore. And I hate that I know that those exist. I hate that I know that there's a person out there whose name is Snooki. All right? Yes, these kids are being dumb. They're being dumb kids. But the fact that it ends up on social media and this post from the Daily Loud has 5.1 million views.
That's right.
Why else they're not running through freaking fences because they think it's funny.
Expensive. They're very expensive to do a fence. That's why, this is costing people money.
Yes, absolutely it's costing people money, and it's ridiculous. And these trends just get more and more dumb. Like, when I was in high school, it kind of seemed like these were starting. Like, my junior year, it was like the ice bucket, like the original ALS ice bucket challenge, right?
For a great cause.
And then the next year, I did it too. Then the next year, it was that cinnamon challenge where you would just take like a spoonful of cinnamon, raw cinnamon, and put it in your mouth and try to eat it, and people would lose their minds. And then there was like the saltine cracker. That's always been a good one. And then it got ridiculous. Then you started seeing the Tide Pod challenges. There was that stupid one where people would put crates in like the shape of a triangle and try to climb it. the number of broken arms, broken legs, concussions, and
But at least that
herniated
only hurt
discs.
themselves and not someone's fence.
Exactly, right? It was more self-inflicted, and
Which I'm good with. If someone wants to break their arm or whatever being stupid, go ahead.
What
Break
was
your
that?
arm.
What
But don't
was the
hurt someone's
stupid-
fence.
There was one that was like ice cream related a few years ago, where people were like going into convenience stores and like eating ice cream and then putting it back or something. Like it reaches a point where
certain levels of just ridiculousness.
it's become stupid. Yeah, somebody just said, why can't we just go back to TPing a house?
We used to do that.
Yes.
That was fun. That's
Let's
when
do
kids were
something
being kids.
Harmless. You are not causing.
Well, COVID taught us
permanent-
not to waste toilet paper.
Yeah, you're not causing permanent destructive damage to people. I mean, it's become completely and utterly asinine. Oh.
Drew, you seem the type to do stuff like this.
No, absolutely not. I was the furthest thing from this. I wanted no part in any of it.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
I have to think about that. I can't just
Run
go
with scissors?
off the cuff. No, I've done worse things than that, or crazier things than that. I'd have to think about it.
I climbed a cell phone tower one time.
That's pretty crazy.
Yep, we had an AT&T tower outside my hometown.
Have you ever climbed these out front? The radio towers?
No, I haven't climbed the radio tower, no.
There's a bunch of birds that sit on them. They crap all over your car, by the way. You don't park your car right underneath them because the birds, I'm not kidding. We've been with stuff and producers stuff that'll walk out and the car is covered in bird crap. Have you had bird crap yet, Drew?
I mean, I've had bird poop on my car, yeah, but not to
I got
that
crapped
extent.
on coming into the building, and they say it's good luck. They say it's good luck.
I've never happened to myself, no.
It's happened to me, and they
I've
say
had
it's
it
good
happen to
luck.
the car, but
So I roll with it.
You just walk in with some bird poop on
I
your arm?
have, yes. There's birds everywhere, man.
All right.
Radio stations accumulate birds.
Has there anybody
It's
that's
annoying
lived
as
as
hell.
complete of a life as you have, Banks, at this point? Because it sounds like you've done a whole hell of a lot of good stuff that
That's called
that people are
parking your
missing
car
out
and
on.
walking in. Birds are a problem.
I once saw a bird fly into a car.
They've flown into this window
I was
before, too,
about
when
to
they
say,
clean it.
are you one of the people, Bink, that think birds are not...
Birds aren't real?
Aren't real?
No, they're totally real, but they're
One of
annoying.
those conspiracy theorists. Yeah, that's actually, I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That's an organization that actually exists. It's called Birds Aren't Real.
Birds.
They think that birds are robots created by governments, and that the reason why they sit on like cell phone, like telephone wires, and is so that they can recharge.
And bats. I remember when a bat got in the press box and Vern hit the floor, man, because a bird was flying around the Kauffman Stadium press box. Anyway, coming up next, Drew, the favorite segment of myself, the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Not the Bengals Half Hour, the Chiefs Red Half Hour next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Cole Reagans, and you're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Kansas City. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Honey, it's me, your wife. Spring is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors Casey for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for summer at powellcasey.com.
Something amazing is happening. Despite a citywide blackout, this company is still up and running. That's because CDW deployed and managed a cost-effective Eaton Triplite Series Smart Pro UPS to safeguard equipment easily and reliably. Keep the power on and protect your IT equipment from electrical challenges. Triplite by Eaton and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/triplite.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start May 14th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Underdog just became one of the best places to make entries during playoff basketball. While they score buckets, you could score cash over on Underdog. It's one of the leading places to make all your sports selections, and you can play it in your state, Missouri or Kansas. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Why not be next? Their app has over 100,000 five-star reviews and millions of players. Look, just download the app, choose whether a player will go higher or lower than their stats, assists, points, rebounds, and then make your selections. Playing on Underdog is a layup. Once your entry feels good, you can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Download the Underdog app and sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back, 96.5 The Fan, home of the Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City Royals, Jay Binkley, Logan Weber, Drew Nixon. This is Drew's favorite segment, the Chiefs Red Half Hour.
When I wake up in the morning, I look forward to this half hour right here.
That's right. Bengals. They have the Bengals orange half hour in Cincinnati.
I don't know, Pink. I don't listen to Cincinnati radio because
I wouldn't either.
I do Kansas City radio. I enjoy Kansas City weather.
I'm not sure they do because I think a Super Bowl victory might be required in order to get yourself a half hour.
I think you're right.
I mean, maybe.
Sorry, Drew.
The Trey Hendrickson half hour. How mad is he today?
I think things are more optimistic, actually, based on a more recent report.
needs to pay him. How can
Yeah,
you be
I think they will.
optimistic when you see T. Higgins, Jamar Chase get that contract? But regardless, this is the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Phase 2 begins today for the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, the Super Bowl, the way they keep going, it condenses this offseason. I'm already in phase 2 at this point. It just seems like they were in the Super Bowl not long ago. We've had the combine, we've had the draft. It's boom. It's go time for the Chiefs. And then next week, be sitting there, and we'll have the schedule release for the Kansas City Chiefs.
And it's only going to get worse as Roger Goodell begins to inquire more and more and more about the possibility of an 18-game regular season, which would add another week to the season because you have to have a second bye week in order to do that.
It's why the records don't matter as much.
Right.
We care about daily fantasy.
Yes, which is, again, in doing that, you'd have to push the Super Bowl back at least another week, which, in all honesty, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. You push the Super Bowl back a week. That would make the following Monday a national holiday, President's Day. So everybody would have that Monday, or most people, I should say, would have that Monday off. So that would kind of be a welcome sight for folks. But again, condenses the NFL season down even more, another week or two.
They could start earlier, too, if they wanted to.
They could. And then you're dealing with mid to late August football, which could get real hot real fast.
Well, preseason, they're going to go from 3 games down to 2 games and not even matter on
Or
that.
just get rid of it.
But the schedule release has become an animal on itself, and you might think it's always been a big deal, but it hasn't been. I remember talking the powers to be and having a schedule release show back in like 13 or 14, 2013, 14, after the Royals game. So after Vern was done, whatever came on, and we talked about the Chiefs' schedule. It was no big deal. People just got on their phones, who you playing, when you playing them. It wasn't that big a deal, but now it's huge because now the morning shows, Fox, CBS, they'll announce a game on that. Then you'll start seeing the international. We've seen international teams that are playing internationally, but not who they're playing.
Right.
Which you'll start seeing that on May 14th. But I do like the schedule release, and the NFL has found a way to captivate us every damn month of the year.
Every day of the year. I mean, Roger Goodell, for all of his faults in other aspects, I know there's a lot of people that don't like him for a variety of reasons. The man is a marketing genius. He has found so many ways to keep the NFL in the front of the brain of Americans every single day of the year.
He doesn't care who and what you are. The NBA dominated Christmas, right? He says, nah, we want to. And they did. It's NBA Day. Oh, they took it over. Having the season start on Thursday night has been genius for them to get last year's Super Bowl champions. Baseball starts their season a lot of times overseas at 6 o'clock in the morning, and no one gives a damn. I mean, they've found a way to captivate that. They start having fans be able to go to the combine. And certainly the draft has become its own animal since they're moving this thing around. But they have found a way to make every month relevant. And, of course, schedule release. People will be on their phones all day. They'll be refreshing, searching, all right, who's piecing? Because people will be piecing it together. Who the Chiefs are playing in week 5, week 6. It'll all start to come out. But it's huge. But we know the Chiefs have some big-time games next year.
Man, they have got some absolute dogs on their schedule, both, road games, away games. You look at what the Chiefs have as of now, right, on their schedule. They got to play the six games within their division. You've got the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders, all 3 of whom I think have improved even more from where they were a year ago. The Raiders, obviously, I don't know what goes on with them, but you brought in a brand new head coach in Pete Carroll, a proven winner. That's going to make you better already.
You're already looking at 3 college national champions just from the division coaches.
Yes, absolutely. And a guy that's won a Super Bowl in Pete Carroll. You bring a guy like Geno Smith over, who is much more proven than either Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell.
Well, the NFL and passing efficiency 2 years ago.
And you bring in a guy like Ashton Genty to take some of the pressure off of Geno. You've really done very, very well for yourself in this offseason. The Broncos did a great job last year. They surprised everybody. You've got your guy in Bo Nix, and now you surround him with outside pieces. Your secondary, your defense got stronger via the draft. And then the Chargers, who, led by Jim Harbaugh, a playoff team a year ago, still not entirely convinced of what they've got going on at wide receiver outside of Ladd McConkey. But we know what Jim Harbaugh wants to do first and foremost, and that's establish the run. And they didn't do that with a great amount of effectiveness last year, right? They had J.K. Dobbins, and they were trying, Gus Edwards, and they were throwing guys in and out of there with the injury issues.
But now it's Najee in free agency, and they draft Amarian Hampton, which I think was actually better than Jente.
Oh, God, that pissed me off, man. I was begging for months, man. I
know you wanted him, man. We did our station picks, and you were the only one, but you had Hampton.
I did. I loved Amarian Hampton. I watched film on him, and then I watched him at the Combine. Just a Saquon Barkley body type, and I thought that was a home run there. Yeah, now you've got two bell cow caliber backs in Najee Harris, who's led the NFL in carries over the last 4 or 5 seasons since he came into the league, on top of a great rookie running back in Amarian Hampton. The division got better. And that's a scary thing if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. You look outside of that, you've got matchups against the Commanders. You've got matchups against the Eagles and the Bills. This is a strong schedule for them. Fortunately for them, a lot of these games that they have against tough opponents from last year are at home. They've got 10 games scheduled this year against teams that were 500 or better a year ago, above 500 a year ago. 7 of those 10 they've got at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium. They only have to go on the road to play 3 teams who had winning records a year ago.
Which Mahomes has just 1 loss in the division on the road. And Kevin Potter from NFL.com looked at 10 best games in the NFL next year. 3 of them were the Chiefs, by the way. Which Sharp Football looks at who had the toughest schedule from last year. I never look at that stuff because it doesn't matter, because teams are good when you don't expect them to be and bad when you don't expect them to be either. But they have the number 1 game being the Chiefs and Bills. That's become just a must-watch game, even though it doesn't really matter the regular season between the Chiefs and Bills. Here in Kansas City, that's show. Philly at KC, big-time game. You've seen them in 2 Super Bowls since Super Bowl 57. This will be a fun game. And then, of course, you also have the Ravens at the Chiefs as well. And that's of many games. But I'm with you, though. I look at this division, think, all right, you got 2 games each in this division. I think the last year's 9th straight for the Chiefs winning the AFC West, which are 2 away from the record, and the Patriots with 11 straight division titles. I look at last year's most impressive just because you had 3 teams make the postseason from the AFC West.
And they still won it.
And they're going to be
away.
better and better. And the quality of head coaches you have now, because the Raiders are actually legitimate now. Pete Carroll, he's brought legitimacy. 2 national titles in college, Super Bowl championship, almost a second Super Bowl championship, but Russell Wilson threw that pick at the 1-yard line. But it's kind of his fault, too, because he should have ran the ball at that point. But regardless, he went to 2, and Tom Brady got an extra ring because of that nonsense, and Pete Carroll. But winning head coaches that have won Super Bowls and college football national titles, even though Harbaugh hadn't won the Super Bowl, he's been the one, and he's won a college football, and he's won everywhere he's gone.
Yeah.
He's been a winner. But this division is absolutely loaded. So I know that they put here on NFL.com the Ravens and Bills. Hey, I think the Broncos, I think the Chargers and Chiefs, I think these games, divisional games, will be extremely important.
Man, this is going to be a fascinating year for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know that it's already happening, right? You're already seeing people. It's the typical offseason, circle of life. Time is a construct where people are taking the Chargers to win the AFC West already again this year, which surprises nobody. Until the day that I see the Kansas City Chiefs lose the AFC West, until that day happens, I'm going to take the Chiefs to win the division.
Well, you're from Missouri. Show me state. Show me.
Yeah.
Show me you can do it.
Somebody's got to prove that it can be done. Somebody's got to prove that Patrick Mahomes can't lead his team to an AFC West division title, because up to this point in his career, he's a perfect 7 for 7. Somebody's got to prove that it can be done. And nobody's done that yet. Nobody's come close.
But everybody predicts the downfall happening, and he's just now getting into his prime. And as I remind people, Steve Young had a Hall of Fame career. He was basically all done in his 30s.
Yeah.
Mahomes hadn't even hit that. He's 29, turned 30 this football season. But regardless, Steve Young built a Hall of Fame career only in his 30s. He's only going to get better.
Oh, yeah. He's seeing, right? Your physical talents may begin to diminish. And I've seen some people saying, what does the Chiefs offense look like? What does Patrick Mahomes, look like when his athletic abilities begin to fall away a little bit. He doesn't become as talented at getting away from pressure or extending plays with his feet and doing those sort of magician-like things that he does. He's talented enough a player and smart enough a player. He's so much a student of the game that he can adjust to whatever it requires to win a football game. If that means he's got to stand in the pocket and be, Tom Brady and Drew Brees and Peyton Manning of past eras, then he can do that. And I am under no expectation whatsoever that we're going to begin to see the downfall of Patrick Mahomes at any point in the very near future. As long as 15 is still at quarterback, Andy Reid, Big Red's leading the charge, and Brett Veach is in the front office, this Chiefs team should be the favorite to win the AFC West and should be among the favorite or top 2 or 3 favorites to win the AFC and win a Super Bowl every single year. Same way that the Patriots with Brady and Belichick were for years and years.
And I look at it, the Chargers are definitely the sexy pick every year. I've seen more and more Broncos lately, which I think the Broncos are a better team right now than the Chargers, to be honest with you.
It's because people aren't sipping the Justin Herbert Kool-Aid anymore.
No, and Justin Herbert's had to get used
stale.
to new head coaches, and I do think this is the right head coach for Justin Herbert. I don't think they've supplied him with a lot of talent at wide receiver, and they should. They're definitely making it easier as far as turning around and handing the ball off, because that's what Harbaugh wants to do, but at least it's a former NFL quarterback as his head coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
instead of a one-year defensive coordinator in Daly.
My biggest reasoning behind the Broncos being that team that I believe is the second best in the division, and I've seen some people in the text line who agree, their defense is elite. Front 4, linebackers, and their secondary is unbelievable. I mean, having Pat Surtain II is going to put you in the upper echelon of the league to begin with, but they are so good and they are so deep, and they even drafted defense in this draft. Yeah, I mean, they really went after
the
more
best
guys.
First round of the teams in the division.
Yeah,
because they went a guy that can actually help stopping Mahomes and Johnny Barron.
Yes, absolutely. And then they went after some edge rushers and some defensive line guys later on in the draft as well. This is a Broncos team that is great because they're deep. I mean, they have their defensive line led the league in sacks last year using a complete by committee style of approach. They didn't have 2 guys on the edge that were competing for a 20-sack season. They had a guy with 12 sacks, a guy with 10 sacks, a guy with 14 sacks, a guy with 9 sacks, a guy with 12 sacks, right? It was this group effort that came together to make things happen. And I think that's what makes them special is the Broncos defensively are going to keep them in games. And Bo Nix was incredibly impressive last year. If not for the historic season that Jaden Daniels had, Bo Nix wins the Rookie of the Year going away last season. And he had probably the 3rd best quarterback rookie year we've seen in the last 5 years. It just happened that he was falling behind the guy who has the best quarterback rookie season maybe ever in Jaden Daniels. So he's only going to get better.
Up that offensive line.
Yes, he's just going to improve. And with guys like Courtland Sutton to throw the football to, I think the Broncos are the second best team in this division, no question.
Oh, as far as the Broncos are concerned, yeah, Debo with Washington. But I love they understand what their quarterback is, and he needs weapons. Let's bulk up an offensive line, which they did. They drafted tackle, plus they brought in Tunsil, and they have 2 Chiefs guys starting on the offensive line. In Wiley, who was undrafted from the Chiefs.
Yeah, and
Allegretti, who's won 3 rings with the Chiefs, is a 7th-round pick.
Yeah. Yeah, the Commanders have gone from nowhere to in the thick of the conversation, right? I mean, very similar to what the Lions did a year ago, where the Lions got off to a slow start. Then they really made some noise in the back half of the season. They came into this year as the proverbial favorite to win the NFC, and they end up getting, upset by the Washington Commanders because Dan Campbell, in typical Dan Campbell fashion, the guy's a gambler, right? And he's going to take chances, and he took way too many in that football game. So the Commanders now become a team that everybody has to pay attention to. And the Broncos have done something similar, not quite to that extent, but the Broncos are somebody that you can't just look at it. This isn't the Brock Osweiler Denver Broncos anymore, that you can just chalk it up as a W. They've got a Super Bowl winning head coach. They've got a great young quarterback, and they've got the best defense top to bottom 1 through 11 in the National Football League.
Text line 913, please blank on the Raiders more. Well, Raiders are still the Raiders. Chiefs have won 17 of the last 19 against the Broncos and the Raiders. They have extreme success against the Raiders. They actually won more playoff games in Allegiant than what the Raiders obviously have.
That's a tough one for them.
I think that also is partially why he wasn't there, but why an interior, because is Norman Lott a run? Is he like a run stuffer, Bink? You would know this more than.
Norman Lott's, he's really known for his pass rushing ability. He had the highest rush win rate in college football last year.
That's why I think it's interesting, because obviously, like, Walter Nolan would have been a home run for a variety of different reasons, but he was so good in run defense. Going up against Amarian Hampton, going up against Ashton Genty, and Najee Harris, and those guys, it'll be interesting to see, because the Chiefs' defense has been so good on the front with stopping the run.
They didn't have a 100-yard rusher last year except for Lamar Jackson. So no running backs got that point, including Saquon in the Super Bowl.
You lose Turk Wharton. I wonder if the run defense is going to take a little step back because of the loss of Turk Wharton in particular, or just maybe another year of Chris Jones in terms of age. If the run defense takes a step back because of the upgrades at those particular positions, or if they are still as consistent as they were last year and still as good as they were last year, that might be a part of what determines how the division goes in terms of those matchups that you guys are talking about, the big ones.
Here's what the Chiefs done against the Broncos. 17-2 in their last 19. 18-3 in the last 22 against the Chargers. Against the Raiders, 13-2 in the last 15. 18-3 in the last 21. Wake me up. I know the Broncos game. You can't even count that one that happened in Denver because none of the starters played. And they did win by a field goal in Kansas City. That was scouting, but they did win that game. And I get it. The Broncos have been close with the Chiefs, but we can't forget they won 16 in a row against them before kind of the streak happened. Yeah, the Broncos have won 2 of the last 5, including last year, and they won in Denver, but that was not the Chiefs starters playing in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bad division up until last season, I think, is where we started to get the reality set in of, okay, Bo Nix actually is pretty good. And Jim Harbaugh, we know, is a good coach anyway, so the Chargers are going to be a problem regardless of how good it seems that they are. And then the Raiders, we'll see how they are this year. Because on paper, it's one of, if not the toughest division in football. We haven't seen it in the last 10 years, as you said, Bank, really regarding the matchups. But, I mean, hey, let's see how it is this year in terms of competitiveness is going to be there. But it looks on paper that it is, we're not going to see them, the Chiefs, just run through the division like they have. It just doesn't seem that way in terms of on paper and what you have seen them do over the last 2 seasons.
But they have, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. No.
But they have.
No, I know, but going back 20 games, they have. If you look back last year, they played well, but the Raiders are better this year. The Chargers are good. Bo Nix will be in his second year. We'll see how things go from here in terms of the ease at which it is to win the AFC West. Like, I don't think it's going to be easy.
Somebody on the text line has them less than 11.5 wins. Andy Reid has averaged 11.9 since being head coach.
I'm not saying the Chiefs aren't going to win the division. I'm just saying it's not going to be, I don't think it'll be as much of a cakewalk as it has been since Patrick Mahomes became the starting quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to secure the division in week 14, week 15 anymore.
Yeah.
But, we're talking about how talented this division is, and it is more talented than it has been in the Mahomes era. Yeah. Andy Reid is still the best coach in the AFC West.
Correct.
Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the AFC West. That's it. And whether, folks want to admit it or not, and there are people who do admit it, there's a little bit of a nervous energy that comes with having to line up across from those two. When you're looking at Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback position, you kind of get a little bit dazed and confused by that.
It's a great point because it's why why they win these one-score games.
Yes.
Why teams like the Raiders, they found a way to lose at the end of the game at Arrowhead. They find ways to lose when you're playing against the Chiefs because you have to play perfect because they will take advantage of that. So you are thinking about Mahomes on the other sideline. It is coming to the equation.
Oh, no question about it. The Chiefs are but they might be more comfortable in a situation where it's a one-score game, whether they're trailing or leading, because that is where they are accustomed to being. And so, again, the division top to bottom is more talented. The Broncos are better. The Raiders are better. The Chargers are better. Put up or shut up.
But
Somebody's got to prove it.
The elites are still the elite.
100%.
I think it's the Chiefs. I think it's the Ravens. I think it's the Bills. I'll even throw your Bengals in there if they could play defense. If Drew.
And if Joe Burrow can stay healthy. Because he hasn't proven he can stay healthy for 2-3 seconds.
They have a great offense that sat on the couch last year.
If he plays, look, I understand that.
Great offense.
I understand that. And they drafted defense. They did everything that they've needed to do to this point in the offseason to try to be a little bit better.
They have not drafted well.
Traditionally,
Mims was terrible last year.
He ranked in the middle of the pack as a rookie offensive tackle that played.
He's always hurt.
And then they took a guy out of Texas Tech or Texas A&M who had what? A sack?
He looks good getting off the bus.
He had 4.5 career sacks. Mind you, Micah Parsons had 6.5 in his whole career at Penn State.
Yeah, Texas A&M does run people. I'll give them that. They run Scorden.
That defensive line was nasty last year. Shamar Turner, Nick Scorden, Shamar Stewart.
Yeah, Scorden led the Big Ten at Purdue in sacks before he transferred to A&M, where it all went to hell.
It'll be interesting to see how they transition, but.
Coming up next, though, what's trending? Plus, we'll look back at the Royals. Is it just a two-horse race in this division?
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
The other place, Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton have lots of big screens, great food, and beer specials. Plus, patio season is coming up soon. The Other Place is your home for baseball this spring. The Other Place and theotherplace.com.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if erectile dysfunction is making a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Heartland Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health.
Graduation season is always so busy around our house, and when we have important celebrations, we trust Hy-Vee. They're my go-to partner for all of our family celebrations, and Hy-Vee can help you with your graduation party planning. They have party trays, personalized cakes, cookies, floral arrangements, party decor, and so much more. Plus, you can leave all the prep work and messy cleanup to Hy-Vee with full-service catering for any size celebration. Choose from a wide range of menu options to suit your style and your budget, only at Hy-Vee.
This Mother's Day, treat all of the moms in your life like a queen. No, wait, an empress with a little help from Hy-Vee. Surprise her with a stunning floral arrangement or choose from dozens of gift cards for some retail therapy. Then bring the whole family to brunch at the Hy-Vee Market Grill. Just $24.99 for adults, $7.99 for children 6 to 12, and kids 5 and under eat free. Just one stop for endless options to crown her queen for the day. Only at Hy-Vee.
Baseball fans love the long ball, and FanDuel is giving you even more reasons to love home runs every Tuesday during the MLB season. Because with Dinger Tuesdays, all FanDuel customers get a home run profit boost. That means when you bet on moonshots, you can take your winnings to new heights. So whether it's a big blast or an Oppo Taco, FanDuel is your home for betting home runs. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex and gear up to go yard all season long. That's FanDuel.com/Alex to claim your Dinger Tuesday profit boost. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
New Harley-Davidson Street Glides under $265 a month at Rawhide Harley. Right out for under $265 a month on a new Street Glide at Rawhide Harley-Davidson.
Payments based on Street Glide model and base color with 30% down, 96 month term, 6.99% APR with approved credit. Doesn't include brake setup, tax, title, and license fees. See dealer for details.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Take me out to my TV on FanDuel Sports Network. Yeah, yeah. Royals games, announcers, and more Royals games. Did I mention they have the Royals? Stream now.
Hang out with Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
And welcome back to Cody and Gold. Jay Binkley, Logan Weber for the week, and Drew Nixon as well. I did see a tweet from Alex Gold. He was delayed in his flight because of a bird strike. We talked about our hatred of birds.
Oh, yeah, bird
Well, there's
strike.
birds affecting airlines, as they typically will. That's why that plane had landed on the Hudson. It was a bird strike, I do believe.
Jeez. Sully
I did not
Sullenberger.
know that.
Yeah, Sully had to land on the Hudson
Miracle on the
because of a
Hudson.
bird.
Bird strike.
Haven't you ever seen that movie? It's a great movie.
It is a great movie. Tom Hanks, phenomenal actor.
Sully landed that thing on the Hudson, man, because of birds.
Bird strike, eh?
Yeah. Gold had a bird strike on his way to Cali in his Caitlin Clark card. He should buy everything.
He didn't take the card with him, though. Like he's already sent it to who needs it.
He FedExed it.
Sent it out same day. Otherwise, he was going to be like a kid with a tooth under his pillow.
I'm surprised he just didn't drive it there.
Just sleeping with that thing.
Just didn't drive it there for that kind of cash.
Well, that was my thing. Is like, why would you use snail mail, like the USPS, to send that card? That's crazy. I would have rather had them drive it to me. Yeah. Than send that thing via USPS. That's crazy.
100%.
He took the day off for it, so might as well drive it.
May as well.
Wouldn't take you that long.
All right, guys. So what's trending here? The Royals blank the White Sox 3-0. 3-0.
Cole Reagans is that dude, man. 11 Ks in 5 innings. He's got 4 10 or more strikeout games this season. Nobody else in the league has more than 2. He is unreal.
Club record's 21
Yeah.
with 8th year, and that was in 255 games,
Is
I
he
think.
the favorite to win
Reagans
the
is
Cy Young
51
now?
games.
That's a tough one. I mean, Reagan's has got a 3.79 ERA to open up the year. I mean, you're looking across the league at some guys that are doing some I mean, Max Fried is probably the favorite right now. What he's doing with the Yanks, man, is unreal. He's 6-0 with a 1.01 ERA across 7 starts. The guy's given up 5 earned in 44 2/3 innings. My pick right now, Max Fried, would be the AL Cy Young. But again, we're like a fifth of the way through the season. So that's number one on what's trending right now. Of course, we got the NHL and NBA playoffs that are ongoing. Unfortunately for me and I had to endure a second-half collapse.
A 20-point collapse.
From the Boston Celtics.
Missed 3-pointers.
Yeah, it was 75-55 at like the 8-minute mark of the third quarter, and I'm thinking, all right, C's are going to win this one going away, well on their way to repeating, because I do believe they are the best team in the NBA. But when you put up 6, I mean, why did you continue to shoot from the perimeter like that? You have all the opportunity. You're up 20. Work the ball inside. Take advantage of the opportunity.
Make a 3-pointer help.
Or just don't shoot them.
Well,
work the ball inside. If you're not shooting the ball well from the perimeter, try to get it inside the paint. Get yourself some easier buckets. Or get to the free throw line instead of settling for 26-footers when they're not going down. I know that's Joe Mazzulla's philosophy, and that's how this Celtics team is built, right? From Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis down to Derek White and Drew Holiday and Peyton Pritchard. 1 through 5, Sam Hauser, whoever. Everybody they put on the floor can shoot threes.
You should have flipped over to the Panthers and Maple Leafs.
I guess so, because, yeah, the NHL playoffs are continuing. I was talking about this last week. I've never been to an NHL or a hockey game before in my life, but I've watched some clips, some highlights, a little bit of this NHL playoff action, and at some point I should probably get to an NHL game because that atmosphere looks exciting, dude.
Dude, it's fun. It's one of those sports. It's like NASCAR when you go to a race. It's much different, but going to an NHL game, it's just much different. Drew, you've probably been to a couple, right?
I haven't been in a long time, in a little while now, but yeah, I've been to a few NHL games.
Who's your team?
I like the Colorado Avalanche. My wife and I lived in Colorado for a while. Talked about the Avs on the radio. Very, very popular. Them and the Broncos, even more than the Nuggets. They're more popular than the Denver Nuggets are in terms of people in their fandom. At least in the spot that I was in Colorado. So Avs got eliminated. As soon as that happened, I've been all NBA for the most part, and then the Avs. But now that the Avs are out, I'll pay attention to the NHL playoffs. But I'll be locked in on the NBA more. I'm from Indiana. I'm a basketball guy. What can I say?
We've had some Game 7s.
All right, take it. Some good Game 7s, Bink. I get where you were going there. You're talking about hockey, or you're talking about the NBA?
They get tied up with 1.6 seconds left. They end up losing that game. Game 7. Ugh.
Yeah, it sucks for the Blues. I mean, the Avs the other day blew a 2-0 lead in the third period.
That's hockey, man. Yeah. It's not over till it's over.
But I mean, good for the St. Louis Blues. I mean, they've had some down years in the last couple of seasons to bounce back the way they did, get back to the playoffs after you fire your longtime.
They sucked. They went out 12-game winning streak.
Exactly. I mean, you fire your longtime head coach who led you to a Stanley Cup, and you're thinking, okay, we're going to have to start over from scratch here, try to get back from square one, and try to rebuild this thing. You get to playoffs, get back to the postseason, I think, a little bit faster than even the most diehard Blues fan was expecting to have happen.
Think about it as, Logan, once you're there, the speed of the game, the hitting, the passing, everything, it'll blow you away, man.
I'm
actually going to an NHL game is just crazy fun.
I'd like to. I'm just in it for the legalized assaults that we get to see out on the ice.
That's right, Drew.
It's not as bad as it once was. Like, it used to be worse in terms of the hitting. I know they've tried to get it out of the game a little bit more, but
they still let guys fight. I mean, that game last year with the Rangers and Devils, they got in 7 fights within like the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I think there's more like levels to it now.
Could be.
They should let other sports fight. They should let other sports fight. Fight till you hit the ground.
In terms of sports and their entertainment, though, like there's not much. Like playoff hockey is peak sports. You know, it's about as good as it gets.
You grow the playoff beard out, man.
The atmosphere of those places
looks
just insane.
Have I tried to grow a beard? For how long?
Couple of months.
couple months.
Gold
No,
has done
I've
it.
tried for a month, and it hasn't gotten much past further. A little bit of the goatee and some of the mustache.
Yeah,
And then some peach fuzz.
Ooh,
altogether.
100 bearded gold.
I can't do it.
Versus Jack Caglione.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know when that video is getting posted from Kramer, but we did it was a question. Would you take 100 Alex Golds or 1 Jack Caglione in a street fight? And our answers might surprise you. You can, if it's not there already, it's going to be posted.
I
here,
took Jack.
soon. Well, you're not supposed to say it. You're supposed to tease. Bink, it's a tease. Go check out the video so they can see your take. You don't say it now.
Well, spoiler alert, I picked Jack.
Hey, my man took Cags.
If it was 500 golds, maybe.
I did say if it was
500 golds, goodness.
I did say no question about it. If it was a 100, if it was a 1 versus 100 Cags versus Alex Gold in a home run derby, I'm taking Cags because all he's got to do is hit one.
I agree.
He'd only need to hit one against me too, so that's not an indictment against.
Do you think
against
you
Gold.
could beat up Gold, Drew?
I don't know.
Like 1-on-1?
I don't know.
Really? You're supposed to have more confidence in that. Say, yeah, I'd destroy him.
Destroy him. That's crazy.
You're supposed to think that. By the way, the Kansas City Royals.
Confidence is a good thing, yes.
It is a good thing. You should have it.
I mean, I do have confidence.
Not with Gold.
So much so that Jack Caglione agreed with me, and the fact that I can break 100 at Augusta.
By the way, Jack Caglione just hit another home run this morning. About 10 minutes ago. Third straight game with a homer.
That dude needs to beat Omaha.
Oppo.
He needs to go to Omaha.
He went to opposite field. But that's the thing. And
did he?
everybody keeps saying that. But the thing is that's not really how minor league baseball works anymore. Like you would think traditionally, just like looking at it from an outside perspective.
Kurtz that went straight.
I know.
Call him up to AAA, not the big leagues, is where I'm.
Oh, no.
Omaha's fine.
You keep him in AA until he's ready for the big leagues because that's the way it works nowadays.
So you're saying just skip AAA entirely?
Yes,
You just let him
that's
but
what
the Royals love that, though.
That's how that works in Major League Baseball
Except for
nowadays.
Kansas City.
If you look at it from an outside perspective, you would say, okay, you draft a guy or you sign a guy, an international free agent, and he starts in rookie ball and then high A and then AA, then AAA, then Major League Baseball. That's not really happening anymore. Major League Baseball, that's the show, right? That's where the top guys are. AA is where your top prospects exist. AAA is sort of those tweeners, those guys that aren't quite good enough to be playing Major League Baseball, and the guys that are better, too good to be playing AA baseball,
Well,
right?
JJ's been a lot like Dayton. Dayton's like you make every stop. So AA, AAA, still sees the value in that. I'll say this. It's more guys on that fringe, the 4A type players
Did
that aren't
Bobby go
quite
to
good enough for
Triple?
Major League Baseball. But the Royals have typically sped up guys that are base stealers, and they'll put them in AAA because it's harder to steal bases in AAA than the Texas League.
Looking at Bobby's numbers, yeah, he did actually. No. Yes, Bobby played 61 games in AA in 2021 and then played 63 games in AAA. So yeah, he did play half a season of AAA.
That makes me think that if Bobby's doing triple, I just feel like that might just be the way that they do it, I guess. I mean, look.
You guys need an Omaha road trip.
We've been told that, yes.
It's a great beer town,
I
too,
can't
by
tell
the
you
way.
if anything's in the work shed or not. You know, we have been told that if Jack does get called up to AAA, that we need to figure some stuff out, which, I mean, who's to say that's not in the cards?
You guys
We
had
had a
an
great time in
awesome
Springfield.
trip.
We had a good time in Springfield. I came right back home, Logan. I did not stay afterwards. It seemed like the guys enjoyed it.
Sounds like, yeah, it looks like the guys went to a karaoke bar.
Well, so Dusty almost got kicked out of a bar.
Shocker.
Cody was he irritated somebody at Harbell's. I got lit. I got laid into by the owner at Harbell's.
You got by the owner? What did you guys do? What kind of degenerates were you acting like down there in the secondary Queen City? I don't know if you know that.
It was a it was a little bit of a miscommunication of some way, shape, or form, and they were having a really bad week, I think, and we became the brunt of the rant.
Okay,
is what the
They
deal
should
was.
have welcomed all the business you guys are bringing.
It's a fun fact for you there, Drew. I should have told you before you went down there. As a Cincinnati guy, as a Bengals fan, Cincinnati's known as the Queen City. Springfield's also known as the Queen
So
City.
is Charlotte. What's the deal with? So
I don't
many
know.
Queen
There's like
cities?
17 of them.
All right,
I don't know.
geez. The Queen
It's also
City
the
is
Chili City.
She's also dead.
the Queen. Mm.
I don't know why I said that. Whatever.
It's also known as the L Town.
Springfield.
No, Cincinnati.
Ooh. They don't have any L's in it.
Well, the Reds have been a decent team.
So the Bengals have been decent.
The rings, man.
I mean, the Buffalo Bills, in fairness, have nothing as well. If anything, the Bills are maybe more of the L team than the Bengals are.
In fairness, you guys had what, 220 people, 225, something like
We
that?
had about 215, I think, is what we had. So for any of those who came down, thank you so much. It was a great time. It was a lot of fun. And obviously, Cags hit a home run, which is great.
That's huge, man.
Which is great of all things that happened. And Cags is a great guy in terms of, should you be rooting for the guy? 100%. He's very down to earth.
Is that your new favorite team?
What?
The Royals.
I'm on record saying I'm a Royals fan. Yes, I've said this multiple times.
Chiefs fan too, I guess, at this point?
No. Never will be. Sorry. I root for the Chiefs as long as they're not playing the Bengals. If the Bengals are playing the Chiefs, sorry about you. I'm rooting for the Bengals.
You can't root for both. You can't.
Well, then I'm rooting for the Bengals. Sorry.
Okay. You can't root for the Chiefs and the Bengals. You just can't do that.
Yeah, based on my line of work, though, I support the Chiefs in some way, shape, and form.
Yeah, the Chiefs were at half hour.
I also provide, encouraging takes on the Chiefs. I'm not a hell is freezing over regarding this team.
It's good to have an outside perspective at times, Drew.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, somebody in the text line just said it probably didn't help that they knew you guys were Royals fans because Springfield is Cardinals country.
Well, we took over that stadium.
It is not fun being a Royals fan living in Springfield a lot of the time.
That's the way a lot of the state is, but it's starting to change a little bit here and there. It's a Chiefs state and a Cardinals state, unfortunately.
Yes, it is, especially down in Springfield, it is all Chiefs. Now, you still have like the odd person who's still like holding on to their Rams fandom for no reason, but you have a bunch of people, the number of people who said like, I used to be a Rams fan until Kroenke moved the team and now I'm a Chiefs fan. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. But
Chiefs' second largest season ticket base is St. Louis.
Yeah, it's correct. And it's just hard because I feel like it could be more of like a 50-50 split because Springfield to Kansas City and Springfield to St. Louis, very similar drives. They're not too far from one another. The problem is that the Cardinals AA affiliates down there and the Cardinals as an organization have been really good for, 70 years since the days of Stan the Man Musial. And the Royals have made the playoffs 4 times since 1985. So... But they have won a World Series more recently.
I'll give this. Springfield's actually become a very good beer town. I know you're not a beer guy, but the breweries and everything, Mother's Brewing.
Yeah, Mother's Brewing is great. Springfield Brewing Company, good beer, good food down there as well.
So a ton of great breweries down there, Drew.
Missouri State. I saw you comment, Bink. I thought Missouri State was great.
You went to Missouri State to do a tour of Missouri State.
The campus was I did a self-tour, essentially. I broke into the stadium in a way. Which
it is a really pretty campus. I'll admit that. And
it's a beautiful campus.
You got a chance to see the brand new turf on the football field. They just put that in a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they still had some of the vehicles out there. So I thought the field looked great. I'm excited to see. I might have to see if I can go to a game down there. They play SMU early in the season.
At home?
They host SMU.
A home game
in Springfield, which is a pretty good get for them.
Yeah,
great new FBS team.
Great friend of yours and mine, Jay, Art Haynes, who does pre and post game for the Kansas City Chiefs, the voice of the Missouri State Bears. That's going to be his swan song. So Art is an SMU grad who has been the voice of the Missouri State Bears for most of the last 40 years, basically. I believe he became the voice in like 1985. He left for a few years to be the voice at SMU and then came back. And that's going to be his final game of play-by-play before he retires as the director of broadcasting for Missouri State University. It's going to be his Missouri State Bears, which he's been the voice of for 4 decades, against his alma mater in a team that made the college football playoff a year ago.
Hunt,
coming
SMU
to
guy.
Plaster Stadium, which
Bryson
is just
DeChambeau,
insane.
SMU guy. A lot of SMU connections.
I mean, he also was LSU too, wasn't he, Bryson? Was he connected to LSU as well?
I know SMU.
I might be dead wrong.
I thought he went to SMU. He's not. I don't think golfers hit the transfer portal like others.
It would be surprising. He went to. Said he went to SMU.
I must be thinking of somebody else in LSU.
Yeah, just went to SMU.
Payne Stewart's from Springfield too, isn't he?
Correct. Payne Stewart. A lot of golf courses in Springfield area named after.
And John Daly.
Payne Stewart. John Daly. I mean, down there in Southwest Missouri, it's got some great golf, man.
John
Top
Daly
of the Rock,
from?
Tiger Woods Golf Course. John Daly, I believe, is from Arkansas.
He used to own a golf course in Branson called Murder Rock.
Well, I was going to say because you've got between Springfield and Joplin. I mean,
There's crazy amount of golf
Collectively,
down there.
yeah.
Springfield, Joplin, Branson, like the Ozarks has some of the best golf courses in the world. And that's why you've seen guys like Payne Stewart and Tiger Woods designing golf courses down there.
Course.
Johnny Morris, yeah.
Johnny Morris,
Top of the rock.
Woods designed it, didn't he?
Yep. That is correct.
Dusty and I briefly discussed whether or not we should have gone down early to go play.
You should have.
But I wanted to see Missouri State, and we ended up trying some cashew chicken, which Alex Gold thinks is supremely overrated.
It is.
At least the spot that we went to. We went to Yum Yum.
I never got the hype around cashew chicken. I ate it several times because that's like Springfield's claim to fame is cashew chicken. In fact, the Springfield Cardinals have an alternate uniform that they wear. Yeah. They're called the Springfield Cashew Chickens. That is not a joke.
I think I saw that pop up. They're wearing it this next weekend, I think.
Yes, they wear them with pretty strong regularity. And I never really understood the hype behind it. But there are some really good places to eat down in Springfield. I'll say that. Jim's Steakhouse, phenomenal food, dude. Jim with 2 M's, Jimm's Steakhouse. Some of the best food I've ever had.
Like I said, I drove down Saturday morning, drove back Saturday night, picked up some Arby's on the way home.
Arby's? Ugh.
I wasn't going to stop at a local place.
Did you go to Buc-ee's?
No. I've been to Buc-ee's before. It's fine.
Yeah, and Buc-ee's is a hard one because it's like on the other side of Springfield.
Buc-ee's is fine to me.
So like if you're driving, you're taking either like 49 to 44 to get into Springfield, or you're taking Highway 13 south to get into Springfield. You'd have to take 44 east past Springfield to go to the Buc-ee's and then come back into Springfield. It's just you sort of had to backtrack a little bit for that. It just. And I couldn't stand Buc-ee's. Maybe that's my hot take of the day.
Fine. I didn't have a great experience there because I went during the time when it was the busiest, and it had to have been at least 20-minute wait to get anything.
Oh, it's insane in there.
Did you guys dominate the crowd down there?
Oh yeah! Shout out to all the listeners who came down. It was we were there's the highlight on from MILB. The home run call. You can hear. There's a. Let me see if I can play it now because I think
there's a crowd pop.
Well, yeah, there's a crowd pop, and also just in terms of there being like a roar. I mean, there was a legitimate roar here. Here it is again. This is the call from MILB of that Jack Caglione home run.
Ready, and the pitch. Swing and a high fly ball deep to right field. Mendlinger back, he's out of room. It sails on to the roof of the training facility, and Jack Caglione wins this battle of future big leaguers. A 2-run homer, his 5th of the season.
I mean, that's a good pop. He hit that off to Koa Roby, right?
Needs to be in Omaha.
I believe so, yes.
That's one of the better prospects. Yeah, Roby's one of the better prospects in the Cardinals system. I'm just trying to regurgitate my Cardinals knowledge because of my time in Springfield, and I remember that name. But man, that was a loud little crowd pop. Yeah, 3,500 people in attendance. I'll give Springfield a ton of credit for that. It's one of the more highly attended minor league ballparks. It
was a really nice ballpark.
Across the levels. Yeah, incredible. Owned by the city, Springfield Cardinals and the Missouri State baseball team both use it, so it's a phenomenal facility.
Do you agree with me on the 2-horse race, though? No.
I can't say I do.
You think 3 or 4? You think Minnesota? Or
I mean, I say 3 definitively, but if
that's Cleveland, I assume.
Yes, yeah. Cleveland being the 3rd, but for Minnesota, if their upper echelon guys can solve it, right? Because they got guys hitting above their weight class right now. Carlos Correa is hitting abysmally for his career right now. If Correa can figure it out at the plate and be the guy that we've seen throughout his career, then I think they will be in a great. I mean, Correa hit 310 last year. He's hitting 215 this year. I don't think 215 is going to stand. That's just me. I mean, I think that the Minnesota Twins can't be discounted at this point. Byron Buxton's around a 260 hitter. Great speed,
if he
great
stays
pop.
Healthy.
If he stays healthy. The Guardians, I can't discount experience and winning experience at that. I mean, like we said in the first hour of the show, they've won this division 5 times since the last time that the Tigers.
But the bullpen's not like
Royals
it was last year. That concerns me if I was a Cleveland fan.
Yes, but again, we're 35 games into this thing. Will it stand up over the course of 162 games? I don't know, right? This Royals team was 8-14 2 weeks ago. Now they've won 12 of their last 14 games.
It's the magic of the Rockies, baby.
It's just one of those things that there's gonna be ebbs and flows in this whole thing, and all it takes is one injury, right? It would take a Jose Ramirez going down for the Guardians for me to say, okay, yep, it's a 2-horse race. But if Bobby Witt Jr. goes down for the Royals, or a guy like Tariq Skubal goes down for the Detroit Tigers, then the conversation begins to pop back open again, and it's like, okay, well, maybe this race isn't as, one-sided or two-sided as we thought it once was originally.
By the way, Skubal's plus 230. He's got the best odds for Cy Young.
He's unbelievable.
And Cole's plus 1,500. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back.
What is Skubal doing so far? Yeah, he's 3-2 with a 2.21 ERA so far this season. 48 Ks on the year. But Max Fried has been unbelievable. 6-0 in 7 starts. 1.01 ERA. How about you, Shinobu Yamamoto, for the Dodgers? Got a 0.9 ERA. 0.9. I won't give the Dodgers any credit, though. They're printing money like it's not real.
Deferring contracts left and right, yeah.
Oh, God.
They beat the White Sox 12 out of 13 times last year. You just got to keep beating them. Keep a bad team down.
Yes, absolutely. And I never understand when people are like, oh, it's because they're just beating up on bad teams. That's what you're supposed to do. It's the same reason why the Dodgers win 100 games. Right? Yeah, they beat good teams along the way, but they're also beating the brakes off of bad baseball teams. If your opponent's down, keep them there, right? Don't help them up off the canvas. That's not the point of sport. If you're running into a bad baseball team, buzzsaw over them. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't understand the negative side of, the only reason the Royals made the playoffs last year is because they beat the White Sox 12 out of 13 times.
Is what it is.
They could have lost to them 12 out of 13 times. I don't understand.
Yeah, let's talk some quarterbacks in the AFC, because a former Chief made an interesting list of his top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Bring you that next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
These spring storms bring trouble for your roof. Century Roofing is the only roofing company name you need to know in Kansas City. They've been working in Kansas City for 35 years. They've handled over 30,000 roofs. They're handling my roof as we speak. Right? They took care of some repairs I needed done about a month ago. Of more repairs on the backside of my roof after those wind came through. So whether you're not sure if you had hail damage the last time, want to know what company to call the next time you get hail damage, and I want a local company that is locally run and operated and can handle it, Century Roofing. That's what it is. They were voted best in Johnson County 3 years in a row, so other people trust the work that they do. Like I told you, I personally trust them to handle the work on my house. Doesn't matter the style of roof. They handle all materials. They'll do a free inspection. They'll work with your insurance company if that is needed. They can handle things from start to finish for you over at Century Roofing. So schedule your estimate today from KC Base and female-owned Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength. Go to centuryroofingkc.com.
This postseason, BetMGM, authorized gaming operator of the NBA, is making first field goal scorer wagers more exciting with Second Chance. What's Second Chance? Ever bet on your favorite baller to score the first field goal, only to see him dish the rock to his teammate for the easy layup? Well, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your first field goal scorer scores second instead. That's right, simply bet on any player to score the first field goal during any playoff game. If you're right, you win. But if your pick scores second instead of first, you get your stake back in cash. Keep the hoop dreams alive this NBA playoffs, even if your bet misses. Grab the chance at getting your stake back at BetMGM, authorized gaming operator of the NBA. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Honey, it's
It's me, your wife. Spring is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors Casey for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for summer at PowellCasey.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on 2 wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Underdog just became one of the best places to make entries during playoff basketball. While they score buckets, you score cash at Underdog. Look, it's one of the leading places to make all your sports selections, and you can play in your state. It's because they're one of the fastest growing sports apps that you can play. It's super easy to use. Just pull up the app, make your selections. Points, assists, rebounds. What are you feeling tonight, right? Take a look at some of the schedule. You'd be like, well, I kind of like, I like the way this one looks for the Knicks. Maybe I'm going to go that route. You get to choose and join the millions of fans who have already won billions making plays at Underdogs. Super easy, like I said. Just download it, then use the Underdog app. Sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check for your wallet first before hitting the drive-thru.
$6. Sorry, forgot my wallet. I have change, though. Here's 40 cents, another 40. Ooh, a bicentennial.
What's that?
Oh, gosh.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Lowe's helps refresh your garden in time for Mother's Day. Right now, get 5 bags of 1.5 cubic foot Scott's Naturescapes mulch for just $10. Plus, select 1.5 gallon annuals hanging baskets make the perfect gift. Now 2 for only $15. The best garden starts with great deals. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/7. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your legacy box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Legacy Box is offering a 60% discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/value, and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value for 60% off. legacybox.com/value.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Welcome back to Cody Gold, 96.5 The Fan. Jay Binkley, Logan Weber, Drew Nixon sitting here with you today. It's quarterback time. Time quarterbacks. Not your fancy quarterback, Drew, that went to the Met Gala last night. A couple ladies.
It was more than a couple, I think.
Saw like a couple of models or something.
I thought he had
got
a
out of
lady.
a bus.
I thought he had a lady.
He does. There's rumor that he's dating some.
I have no idea.
It's on his payroll.
His private life is very private, so much so that I don't know. I don't care to know. He can do his thing.
All right. I respect that.
Is he a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, though?
He's
That's the
top 3.
question. Top 3.
He might be. I think he's 1A or 1B.
Whoa.
But,
Whoa.
1B.
Whoa.
We've been down this road before, Logan.
Hey.
Not with you.
Pull up on the reins there, Drew. Pull up on the reins.
This is what Drew does.
He's 1B.
Tyreek Hill, former Chief, of course, loves to talk. Always loves to talk. He put out his top 5 quarterbacks. Now, keep in mind, Tua is one of those guys that's always been in his top 5, right? Tua, his quarterback. He pays tremendous respect to the quarterback that feeds him the ball. Tyreek Hill was asked to name his top 5 quarterbacks. Is Mahomes in the list? Maybe.
Said, could I rank my top 5 quarterbacks? Lamar, Josh, Pat, obviously. No, this is no order, by the way. Baker Mayfield, and Joe Shiesty, too.
So, no Tua in his top 5. He said no order, no particular order.
Baker in there. Wow.
Baker Mayfield in that list is crazy work.
And they keep giving him weapons. They draft that Buka. I mean, they keep giving him weapons.
That might be a good fantasy team next year.
And he goes, no question, Pat. I mean, there was no question about Pat. I mean, he let that be clear. No question, Pat.
That was the only one he said obviously to.
Obviously.
So if it's in no particular order, the fact that he threw an obviously behind Pat's name might be an indication that he's number 1 on the list, as he should be.
Probably.
Do you agree with that list? I actually agree with the list. No particular order.
Do you think Baker's the top 5 quarterback right now?
Right now, I think
you would say yes if you agree with the list, Bink.
Yeah, I mean,
you think so?
But then, there's some argument at 5. There's some argument there.
Of course.
There's some argument at 5.
I mean, who else is there to really argue? I think that's where this gets interesting.
I think the others are cemented with Mahomes, Burrow, Allen,
do you put CJ
Jackson.
Do you put CJ Stroud in that conversation for 5?
After the first year, yes. That's why I caution people on Bo Nix. Be careful. That sophomore year could be a, you know what.
Because I think, in terms of where Tua is, it'd be interesting to see where people rank him because with all the injuries and stuff, he hasn't played enough for you to even really consider him to be a top 5, maybe even top 10 you could debate quarterback, regardless of how
But if he's your quarterback, you have to mention him, don't you? If he's your guy, you have to do it.
I guess so.
You have to throw him in that list. Instead of Baker, you throw Tua just because he's your. Because then we all kind of understand.
I mean, because he did that for years.
He's done it before.
He's the same guy who said that he thought Tua was more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's what Tyreek has done.
He has backed off that baby.
He is so hot and cold when it comes to this, and his their relationship with Tua and what he's got with the Miami Dolphins, like on a day-by-day basis. He loves being a Miami Dolphin, and the next day he's like, why did I ever leave Kansas City? It's ridiculous. I agree completely with 4 of the names he mentioned. Obviously, Mahomes, Josh Allen, fresh off an MVP, Lamar Jackson's got 2 of them, Joe Burrow.
Baker was really good last year. 3rd in the NFL in passing yards.
He
over
was.
71%. 41 touchdowns for Baker. Baker actually had a type of year we'd say, okay, top 5.
I think there's some other people I think there's some other people who think Baker is actually that dude where he's ranked inside of the top 7 or 8, but I don't know if it stretches beyond 7 or 8 because I think Jared Goff, the way he's been playing.
Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl MVP.
Jalen Hurts is in that conversation.
Yeah, Goff was between Burrow and Mayfield as far as the yardage last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what makes this really interesting in the conversation because, I mean, even like Dak Prescott, before last year, I think you could say that he was a top 10 quarterback, or maybe he still is, depending on on how you feel about him before the injuries and stuff. But I think that it's interesting to see because I think there's a group of quarterbacks, not that they're lost, but they're in a bubble where you don't really know how to think about them. And that'd be Tua, Brock Purdy even, Dak Prescott. I think Jordan Love might be in that conversation.
And I
now.
think Stafford, by the way, is
Lawrence.
underrated. I think he's very underrated for Stafford. Very consistent guy.
I think
He's
Matt
won a
Stafford
Super
also
Bowl.
is very good, yeah.
Yeah, somebody said Jaden Daniels after the rookie year he just had. But
I
again,
think you could put him up in that conversation.
rookie to sophomore year, we'll see what happens. With guys like Jordan Love, with guys like Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, I think they are almost there, guys, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins has been an almost there. Like, he's good enough to get you in the position to win it, but he's not quite good enough to put you over the top, right?
The one playoff win really brings you back.
There are only a handful of guys in every era of the National Football League that you look at the quarterback position and be like, that's a guy who can lead you to a Super Bowl win, right? Mahomes, Lamar to some extent, although his playoff woes are well documented. Joe Burrow, right? Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, right? There are guys in every generation where you're like, that's the type of dude that can win you a Super Bowl. I don't look at any of the Jalen Hurts has become that guy now, right? I don't look at Tua. I don't look at Brock Purdy. I don't look at Dak Prescott. I don't look at Jordan Love as guys that can go win a team a Super Bowl. Could he get you there? Maybe. Right? He could get you to a conference championship game. He could get you a divisional round game. But can he win you a Super Bowl? When it gets down into the nitty-gritty, fourth quarter, 6 minutes left, you got to make a play to win a Lombardi. I don't know if those guys have it. And that's why I don't converse about. I don't like the whole top 10 list because you've only got 5 or 6 guys that are truly elite Super Bowl caliber quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is just either good enough to keep their job or is going to be looking for work elsewhere.
I've asked this question to other people, Logan. I want to ask Drew because I know his answer. Quarterbacks, no, I do know your answer. So it's very clear. The next quarterback to win a Super Bowl ring in the AFC. Not Mahomes. Who else would win one in the AFC? I know he's going to say Burrow. 100% he's going to say Burrow. Aren't you, Drew?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
It's Josh Allen.
Okay.
It's Josh Allen. All he's got to do is beat Mahomes. That's it. That is his Achilles heel. That is his bugaboo. That is his Grim Reaper, is 15 in red.
And he did have 30 points a game with not great talent at wide receiver. Shows his ability.
The thing that's so he's never beat Joe Burrow in his career. He's never beaten him. He had one playoff game in Orchard Park. They got beat by like it was like a 2-touchdown game throughout. I just wonder, to me, I think, because to your most recent point, Logan, about quarterbacks that can win one, I think you can win one with Josh Allen, but for me with Josh Allen, I think even the same in a way with Lamar Jackson, is I need to see it to believe it, because part of me thinks that Josh Allen just doesn't have. There's something about Patrick Mahomes where the odds are stacked against him so much and he still finds a way to get it done. Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times in a playoff game and still found a way to help get it done. I just think Josh Allen doesn't have that. He's a great player, an elite player, an MVP caliber player, but when it comes down to it, if the odds were stacked against him, because we can go down the line of great defenses, had Stephon Diggs at one point, great offensive line, all just go down and down and down, time and time again, and he hasn't been able to get there once. If the odds are stacked against him, I mean, is he even able to get through that game alone? I just don't know if he has that dog in him the same way that
the biggest indictment on him is he didn't
do.
win with the number 1 defense, because he's had that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that there's just some not limitations, but he just doesn't have that. I don't care what's happening. I'm going to make sure that we win this game, like what we've seen Patrick Mahomes do before.
Yeah, if you're looking player to player, right? If you're ignoring the other 52 guys on either roster and you're looking Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, I see what you're saying.
Or even Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson in the conversation too, based on his performances individually in the playoffs.
What pushes me to Josh Allen is when you do kind of zoom in and you look at players 2 through 53 on the Bengals and the Bills, especially defensively.
Right.
The Bengals are a wet paper bag. They're a Swiss cheese defense. They can't stop anybody. And your best defensive player might end up playing for somebody else before we hit minicamp. I don't know. So I lean towards Josh Allen only because, yes, the offensive pieces around him maybe aren't as talented, but the Bills' offensive line is better. Their running game is stronger, and their defense is capable of forcing a 3-and-out. And that's why I lean Josh Allen, because I think he will continue to be in those sorts of situations where he does have to beat Patrick Mahomes. We saw Joe Burrow. He was probably the best quarterback in football last year. If the Bengals are 10-7 instead of 8-9 or 7-10 or whatever they went last year, Joe Burrow might have won the MVP, but their defense was so bad that it kept him out of the MVP race and it kept them out of the postseason entirely. The Bills are going to win the AFC East. They're going to make the playoffs every single year because they're talented offensively and defensively. The Bengals are so unbelievably one-sided that I think it hurts Burrow's chances of being in an AFC championship game with an opportunity to go to a Super Bowl because their defense can't stop anybody.
Let's take the Bengals out of it. Do you still feel the way with Lamar Jackson? Because I think Lamar and Josh are very similar in terms of really good defenses. Offensive lines have been solid. Pieces around Lamar haven't necessarily been the greatest.
Except for the running game.
Except for
the running game has been dominant.
And also you have Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely is no slouch either. That's if you take the Bengals out of the conversation completely, I think it's a more of an interesting conversation, I guess, in terms of the full roster construction regarding the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens, because they're built very similar to each other. But we know Lamar Jackson's track record in the playoffs. Josh Allen, in fairness to him, has a better record against everybody else. It's just that he can't get by Mahomes.
Yeah.
That I think is where things get a little bit more interesting, where if it's between those two, I would probably lean Josh Allen still, but part of me just for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's an AFC North thing, but the Ravens, I just think that Lamar can figure it out one time where if they don't commit those it took 3 turnovers from the Ravens to lose to the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they were right in that game with 3 turnovers. So I just think that there's...
But those turnovers came from Lamar Jackson. Right? That's been his... I mean, Josh Allen has 25 touchdowns to 4 picks in his playoff career. Lamar, 10 touchdowns to 7 picks. Lamar finds ways to make mistakes. Josh Allen makes plays, and he plays well in the postseason. Just doesn't play better than Patrick Mahomes.
So bottom line is, if Allen and Burrow are sitting there, and you start a franchise with one of them, I know you're going Allen.
Yes.
You still going Burrow over Allen? Start a franchise. And by the way, I'd put Jalen Hurts over Mayfield.
Yes.
I think guy's extremely underrated. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He could have been a Super Bowl MVP had they won 57.
He is. He's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy, because I think that the 49ers, that's the thing with the Kansas City Chiefs, is over the last 3 years, they've been to 3 Super Bowls and they've won 2 of them. And I don't know if they had the better roster in any of those 3 games.
Better head coach.
Better head coach, better quarterback. And what puts Jalen Hurts above Brock Purdy for me is that Jalen Hurts relies on the weapons around him and is successful with them. Brock Purdy couldn't get that done. Brock Purdy had such a strong offense, such a strong defense, offensive line for days, and couldn't win the big one. Jalen Hurts is a winner. He's a gamer. He doesn't care what it takes. I'll throw the football 14 times and we'll give it to Saquon 30 times if that means we win the football game. I'm cool with that.
And we'll let our defense beat the stars and get to Mahomes, because that was the difference in the game.
100%.
Was the defense.
100%.
And I don't know if that doesn't necessarily take away from Jalen Hurts, but I think, you could say, does that mean he's a better quarterback? Somebody will say, well, does that mean he's the better quarterback and all that other stuff? Where, I mean, look, he takes care of the football and he's the one holding the trophy at the end, so it's hard to say no to that person.
Yeah, no question.
The one noticeable name not on here is Justin Herbert anymore. That's good to see, because Justin Herbert was always one at the top of these lists going forward.
Yeah, and
he just can't win the postseason.
That's a weird one for me, because I am a Justin Herbert fan. I'm not as much of a hater of Justin Herbert as maybe some other people are. He throws for a tremendous amount of yards. He's incredibly accurate, throws a lot of touchdowns. He limits mistakes. He only had 3 picks last year. I mean, 3,800 yards passing and only 3 interceptions, which is pretty impressive. But the thing that makes everybody hate Justin Herbert, especially here in the Metro and in the Chiefs Kingdom, is that he's constantly compared to Patrick Mahomes because they play in the same division. There's always some moron somewhere, and somehow inevitably it ends up being Colin Cowherd every year that is like, I think Justin Herbert's going to be the best quarterback in the AFC West this year, not Patrick Mahomes. And it's like, well, no wonder everybody hates Justin Herbert.
Brandon Staley before Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I think that really set him
it's
back.
just a revolving door of course. He's going into what, year year 6 as a starter, and this is his 3rd different head coach.
Yeah.
Woof.
And mostly defensive-minded guys, except until you get to Harbaugh.
Yeah, Harbaugh. And Harbaugh does such a good... And he balances things extremely well, relies on the running game to set up the passing game. And I think that kind of fits what Justin Herbert is, because he's a tremendous play-action quarterback. And you get him outside the pocket, you allow him to extend plays and make plays with his feet. I think Harbaugh is a perfect fit for who Herbert is as a quarterback. I think it's going to be a fascinating one to watch.
It'll be interesting to follow. You guys want to get to a random question?
Let's go random question.
Random question.
All right, for you guys, for the text line is 1-913-586-7965. I really am tired of this conversation, but I want to get it out of the way because, it's part of the deal with our social media video. Not exactly the same, but this whole 100 men versus a gorilla thing. Let's talk through it a little bit. Who do you think is pulling that out, plain and simple?
The gorilla.
Gorilla.
Agreed.
It's the gorilla. I'm sorry. And I know there have been, this whole trend has gotten so completely out of hand that they have had actual primate experts weigh in. There have been legitimate news organizations that have written articles about this, which just boggles the mind. And they're like, the human's best chance is the endurance of the gorilla.
I remember when Kobayashi took on a bear eating hot dogs. He got smoked by the bear.
Yeah, and that's just eating.
I'm just saying a lot of times you don't give the animals the respect because they destroy humans when they actually compete.
It would be really interesting to see how many make it. How many how many are we talking death? Or are we talking just simply giving up? Because I think in this scenario we're talking deaths.
There would be deaths.
There would be a tremendous amount of deaths or maimings that would occur.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of people that would be in comatose or critical condition leaving that facility.
I can just picture the gorilla picking up somebody by their leg, by their foot, and just slamming them back and forth and back and forth.
Smacking them with his arms, man.
Strong.
Yeah. Human number 31 is going to be used as a human projectile to kill humans 32 through 35.
And then it gets easier and easier as everybody goes.
Yeah, you'd have to everybody would have to come together and bull rush it, man. And it depends on who the 100 people are, right? If it's 100 everyday Joes off the street, we're in a bad way.
Who are you drafting then? If you had your number one overall, or actually, let's give a top 3. If your first 3 people that you're taking in the draft pick of 100 people to kill the gorilla.
The Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Number 1. Massive human being. John Jones is the baddest man on the planet. So
John Bones Jones?
Yeah, I could go with the John Bones Jones would be a good one. I got to think of people with a large stature.
You thinking John Bones Jones is going to roundhouse kick the gorilla in the face? Is that where we're going with this?
Man, something. Whatever has
Mike
to be done.
Tysons?
Yeah, 100 Mike Tysons from 40 years ago, not the Mike Tyson that showed up to the Jake Paul fight.
Big, who are you taking? If you had a top two or 3 picks, who are we thinking?
Well, you'd have to think of maybe the Tyson Furies of the world. It would have been Kimbo, but R.I.P. Kimbo.
Yeah, Kimbo Slice would have been a good one. I was thinking The Big Show or Undertaker 20 years ago.
Undertaker would be a stud back then.
Yeah, in his 50s, I don't think it applies quite the same.
I agree. Someone said Nikola Jokic's brother.
There you go. His brothers.
Vintage Klitschko.
Right.
The actor who plays Jack Reacher, Alan Richson. Derrick Henry versus Gorilla. Chuck Norris. Oh, that's a good one.
Chuck Norris beats everybody.
Somebody said, I saw this question today. Who would win a fight? 100 Don Zimmers or 1 Pedro Martinez?
Are we talking after Pedro Martinez threw him down to the ground or before?
I think Zimmers.
Because we're thinking if Pedro Martinez throws Don Zimmer to the ground and then it's 100 of them against Pedro Martinez, it's 100 Don Zimmers easy.
I don't know, man. How old was Don Zimmer when that happened? That was what, 03?
That'd have been 6.
Pedro's not exactly in good shape right now.
Was that the ALCS, ALDS in 2003? He was 70?
Oh, dang. Okay.
He was 70, 71. I'm sorry. No. I'm taking 1 Pedro Martinez versus 100 Don Zimmers.
Chuck Norris, Aaron Donald, Brian Shaw. I'm
Aaron Donald.
These.
Aaron Donald would be a good one. See, that's the thing. People are Andre the Giant. Okay, he's no longer with us, right? Chuck Norris is 70. Like John Wick, that's a fictional character. Like 100 actual human. I don't know if there are 100 actual human beings that you could legitimately point to.
Again, this is the thing. With no weapons, or there's no weapons. It's literally them versus the gorilla.
Yeah, James Harrison. Okay, James Harrison, also almost 50. 3 guys on meth over a gorilla. Just say 3 people from Florida.
According to the text line last week, it was Springfield.
That's true. I have a high crime rate in Springfield, Mo, I tell you. Somebody said Chris Jones. Call the cast of Expendables 3. Just going to break them out of the nursing home?
Eddie
So obviously
Hall,
you
Brock
favor-
Lesnar and Brock Lesnar's daughter. All right.
100 Brock Lesnar's might have a chance. I don't think we've created the cloning technology for that yet. Mike Tyson in 1987. It's like, we're in 2025, folks.
I just don't think people realize how I don't think it's possible. Like, you could take not 100 of certain people. You could take like The Rock. You could take John Cena. You could take whoever.
Deontay Wilder,
Tyson Fury. I don't know if they're going to kill the gorilla, because I think the gorilla would handle enough people that it would end up you'd get through the stronger people quicker to the.
And you got to think about the psyche, dude. Like the fighting begins, the gorilla's fight or flight response takes off.
Yeah,
the fight begins.
You're seeing the gorilla in its primal mode.
Yeah.
Like, it's trying to kill you.
Fear and doubt for the human sets in.
You have
almost
no
immediately. All right. You watch 20, 30 people in front of you get absolutely smoked. You're in a bad spot. A silverback gorilla has the capability of lifting and throwing objects weighing up to 1,800 pounds. The bite force of a silverback gorilla, 1,300 PSI, which is stronger than a lion.
I'd say it would take your arm off.
Yeah. Somebody did give the best suggestion I've heard, though. You'd only need one man. The kid that took out Harambe.
I mean,
Cincinnati Zoo.
I mean, he used the. He didn't. It wasn't just him though.
Start. Yeah, but that's the thing, is that there's no weapons allowed in this, right?
100 Navy SEALs would smoke a gorilla. I mean, that might be your best shot, I guess, but I still don't think it's.
I'd have to go with that.
Nobody.
I don't know, man. You'd have to you'd have to wear the gorilla down. You'd have to. I mean, their endurance isn't incredibly strong, like the primate experts talk about. But even if you were to wear the gorilla out, are 100 human beings strong enough to subdue and ultimately kill a gorilla?
After seemingly he takes out half of the 100 people in those 3 minutes, until he gets tired.
Yeah.
And
who are those? Who are the 40, 50 people you're going to throw out there as sacrificial lambs to wear this gorilla out? Who's signing that one up?
There's no amount of money that could get me to do that, to volunteer myself.
Drew, look at us. Look at the two of us, all right? Look at.
Well, I'm just saying to be a part of the 100. I don't
Cherry
even have to do
tomatoes, my guy. Cherry, our heads just.
If we survive $1 billion, I don't think it's happening.
The real question is, how many Alex Golds would it take to be the gorilla?
How many Alex Golds?
I don't think that number exists yet.
I mean,
500,000?
Oh, way more than that.
I think there is an infinitesimal amount of Alex Golds that it would require to do this.
Certainly more than 1,000. Certainly more of 1,000 me's or Logans.
Correct.
Interesting.
That's a random question.
One Mahomes.
Just give him a football, see if he can plant it between the gorilla's eyes, knock it unconscious.
100%. 100%. Coming up next, though, Chiefs' schedule is going to come out in about a week. You know all the opponents, but where will they be playing? The questions. We discuss that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Look, I might be looking for a new job at some point based on what I just said on the air. I'll go to Centric.com. I won't even think about it, Gold, because I know IT is the future of Kansas City, and I know I can make Centric let it be my future.
A little as 4 months, too. That's what's great. This is not a change that's going to take you 4 years to get to. I don't have time to wait 4 years. I'm in a spot. I still need to obviously work my current job, even if I want to find something else. In as little as 4 months, though, you can go through their flex scheduling, too. Maybe you can't always make it on their campus. Maybe you want to be able to do it virtually. They will work with you, and they're also going to help you get hired. They help you prepare for, find, and land your first job to start your new IT career.
They're building new IT centers in Kansas City right now. They're going to be looking for people in an IT career. So before it gets miserably hot in the summer, if you remember what it was like working outside in the cold, look for that new career. Call our guy Russ. He's been at Centric for over 16 years. He'll walk you through the entire process. Find out more at Centric.com.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Graduation season is always so busy around our house, and when we have important celebrations, we trust Hy-Vee. They're my go-to partner for all of our family celebrations, and Hy-Vee can help you with your graduation party planning. They have party trays, personalized cakes, cookies, floral arrangements, party decor, and so much more. Plus, you can leave all the prep work and messy cleanup to Hy-Vee with full-service catering for any size celebration. Choose from a wide range of menu options to suit your style and your budget, only at Hy-Vee.
This Mother's Day, treat all of the moms in your life like a queen. No, wait, an empress with a little help from Hy-Vee. Surprise her with a stunning floral arrangement, or choose from dozens of gift cards for some retail therapy. Then bring the whole family to brunch at the Hy-Vee Market Grill. Just $24.99 for adults, $7.99 for children 6 to 12, and kids 5 and under eat free. Just one stop for endless options to crown her queen for the day. Only at Hy-Vee.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-265-7681. 800-265-7681. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-265-7681.
Get ready for summer's heat with a $69 AC tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Our expert technicians will make sure your system is working at peak efficiency to help you save money on energy costs. At Hamilton, we know how important your family's comfort is. Our exceptional service guarantee, plus over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, are great reasons to trust Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Visit callhamilton.com for detailed terms and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Lowe's helps refresh your garden in time for Mother's Day. Right now, get 5 bags of 1.5 cubic foot Scott's Naturescapes mulch for just $10. Plus, select 1.5 gallon annuals hanging baskets make the perfect gift. Now 2 for only $15. The best garden starts with great deals. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/7. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check for your wallet first, before hitting the drive-thru.
$6.
Sorry, forgot my wallet. I have change, though. Here's 40 cents, another 40. Ooh, a bicentennial.
What's that?
Oh, gosh.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Lowe's helps refresh your garden in time for Mother's Day. Right now, get 5 bags of 1.5 cubic foot Scott's Naturescapes mulch for just $10. Plus, select 1.5 gallon annuals hanging baskets make the perfect gift. Now 2 for only $15. The best garden starts with great deals. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/7. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Take me out to my TV on FanDuel Sports Network. Yeah, yeah. Royals games, announcers, and more Royals games. Did I mention they have the Royals?
Stream now.
Kansas City, this is Michael Massey. Listen to the play-by-play all season long with Denny, Jake, Ryan, and Stu right here on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back, 96.5 The Fan. Jay Binkley, Logan Weber, Drew Nixon. We've discussed gorillas fighting people. Now we'll talk about the Chiefs fighting other NFL teams.
That seems like a more reasonable use of our time.
The schedule comes out next week, the 14th to be exact. Chiefs this year play at Buffalo, at Dallas. Keep that game in mind for a Thanksgiving Day game. Wouldn't that be fun? Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Get the night and give them Christmas.
I'd love that.
Well, Chiefs were on the very first night game on Thanksgiving when they played the Broncos. Kind of a tribute to Lamar Hunt that year. Because normally, every year it's the Cowboys and the Lions on Thanksgiving. So they rotate that night game around, which is good for the NFL. At Denver, at Jacksonville, Denver at home, Chargers at home, Raiders at home, of course. Houston at home, Indy, Eagles at home. That'll be fun. Washington at home, Baltimore at home, Detroit at Vegas, at the Chargers, at the Giants, at the Titans. I got a text saying they went to the Raiders game last year. A friend of mine did, and they loved it. The little Death Star out in Vegas.
Allegiant Stadium.
It's not quite the home field advantage I think they were hoping for originally in Vegas. Clearly, it's a transient city.
Yeah, it's a tourist town.
But the Golden Knights have worked out. I mean, the fans of that have worked out. You would think, okay, everybody wants to come see their hockey team play when they're in Vegas, but it's actually worked out with homegrown fans, and I think the Raiders were hoping for that buzz as well, but it hadn't happened.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it has to do with you're not winning. If you've got a winning product, people are going to want to go see that. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights, to have the immediate success that they had in the NHL, said, hey, that team's winning. We want to go watch winning, so we're going to go watch. The Raiders haven't exhibited that in Las Vegas yet. If they start to win and they start to get competitive, they become a perennial playoff team. The people of Las Vegas, just like anywhere else, are going to show up to watch that team play. That's
what the
how
A's
sports
are
work.
open for whenever they eventually get to Vegas. I was surprised the NBA's not there, to be honest with you. I thought that was going to be the first pros franchise in the city.
They will eventually once they get to the next set of expansion teams, which they have been discussing for several years. Or
with the summer league, though, I'm just surprised it was just a natural fix.
When the Kings decide that they want to leave again, this time leave Sacramento, then they may end up in Vegas. Makes sense because that's where the A's are playing right now is Sacramento, and then they're going to go to Vegas next year. So why not just follow suit?
Well, Sharp Football put out his toughest list for the toughest schedules next year, which I don't really care about. It's 49ers, Patriots, Saints, Falcons, and Bills for what teams are projected for win totals and teams that are on the schedule. They put this out. I don't really care because I think the AFC West, toughest schedule in the AFC. You have 3 playoff teams in there. You got all these coaches that have won, even the Raiders. They didn't make the one team that from the AFC West that didn't make the playoffs has a Super Bowl winning head coach that's 72 years old and on a desire to keep winning.
Yeah, I'm kind of baffled by this list. The Chiefs' 27th toughest schedule,
which is insane.
Yeah,
considering some of those teams I mentioned, like the Eagles, the Bills, the Ravens, Lions.
I guess I shouldn't say 27th toughest schedule. By this list, they have the 6th hardest schedule in the league. 27th if you're ranking 1 through 32, easiest to hardest. So it's the 6th most difficult schedule in football. But I look at the Vikings at 28. You've got the Eagles at 29, Lions at 30, the Browns at 31, and the Giants at number 32. The Chiefs are playing 10 games against playoff teams from a year ago, which, again, take it with a grain of salt because you looked at their schedule last year, and I don't know anybody who looked at it.
There's always the team that makes the playoffs that didn't make the playoffs the year before.
Yeah, who looked at the Washington Commanders and thought, oh, that's going to be a tough game. Well, turns out it was. They won 12 games a season ago. So I am a little bit surprised that they're not closer to maybe the second or third toughest schedule in the league. But I think that there are some things that certainly help them. Of the 10 teams, the 10 games I just mentioned against playoff teams, they have home games against 7 of them. They've got the Broncos at home, Chargers at home, obviously being inside the division. They host the Baltimore Ravens. They host the Detroit Lions. They host the Houston Texans, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Commanders. All of them are at home. The only road games they have, Broncos, Chargers on the road, obviously. You've got the Bills on the road, but then you go to Dallas, to Jacksonville, to New York for the Giants, and to Tennessee to play the Titans. Your road schedule is very, very friendly.
And the only thing I really look at is I look at the quarterback situation. Like, that's the first thing that sticks out to me. Which quarterbacks are very good that you're playing on the road?
Yeah.
Like, who are those quarterbacks? Now, obviously, you're playing Josh Allen in Buffalo. I get it. They usually beat the Chiefs in the regular season. Postseason, much different story. It's kind of a who cares game for me. I don't really care about it. Just like when they lost to Buffalo this year, I was like, who cares? Wait till we get to the postseason, see if they beat them. But you look at a lot of these games, you think, all right, which quarterback are they playing? There's some really, really good quarterbacks that they play in the NFL this year.
No question.
You got Jackson on there, Lamar Jackson. You got Josh Allen. You've got Jaden Daniels on there. You got Jalen Hurts again on there. They play a lot of good quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a top 10 list of the best quarterbacks in football, there's only maybe 2 that you won't see next year. You won't see Baker Mayfield, and you won't see Joe Burrow. But
Joe Shiesty.
Yep, Joe Shiesty. You have matchups against Lamar. You've got a matchup against Jared Goff and C.J. Stroud and Bo Nix twice.
And
Justin
the Giants,
Herbert
whoever
twice.
that's going to be.
Whoever that ends up being. You've got to play Jaden Daniels. You've got to play against Josh Allen. You've got to play against Dak Prescott coming back off the injury. What does that look like? You've got to play against Trevor Lawrence with nobody to throw the football to outside of maybe a two-way player in Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter, man.
And you got to play the number 1 overall pick at his home stadium in Cam Ward with the Tennessee Titans. So it's an interesting schedule, but I look at it and, man, I would love a Thanksgiving Day game in Dallas against the Cowboys, right? That's a road game for you. The Cowboys always host on Thanksgiving. I think that's picture-perfect scheduling for the NFL. Put the
Chiefs are their bell cow. And you put 2 of America's teams together?
Maybe the 2 most popular teams in football in 2025. That game's going to explode for people, right? You can play the whole, Dallas Texans versus, you can play that whole scheme with the Thanksgiving Day game. I think it works. I know that there's some people that think that Chiefs-Eagles is going to be the NFL's opening day game. I don't see it because the Chiefs are the home team.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
The Eagles are going to host. They're for their week 1 game. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. That's traditionally been the way they've done it a lot of the time.
They'll host
is
it.
That the Super Bowl team, whoever wins the Super Bowl, is going to be the host of that game. I think the Eagles will host the first game of the year on Thursday night, and it won't be against the Kansas City Chiefs.
They should do the Commanders game, but whatever.
They should. But I'm fascinated by how difficult this schedule can be for the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, if there's one thing I'm hoping for this Chiefs schedule, it's that it's not overly backloaded. Like, the last thing I want to see is in the final 5 weeks of the year, the Chiefs have to play a combination of like Philly, Washington, Detroit, and Buffalo.
And the total rest thing is big. Like, how much rest do you have between games?
Yes, and that's the
Thursday
second
night,
thing.
which they do. Sharp Football always puts it out.
Yep.
Because a couple of years ago, the Chiefs had less rest than anybody. This past year, it's 49ers.
Yes. And that the second thing I would say is you have to hope for a halfway point or later bye week. I don't want to see this Chiefs team have a bye in week 6 or week 7. You hope that you're getting a week 11 or a week 13 bye if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, because you're going to be in the midst of a playoff
before
chance.
A tough opponent.
Yes,
and not a bye before the Jaguars,
or in between, right? You've got Philly at home, bye week, and then you're playing Buffalo on the road. That's an ideal situation. The last thing you need is Tennessee on the road, bye week, and then you're hosting the Indianapolis Colts.
Or a couple years ago when Buffalo actually played in London and turned around and went ahead and took their bye week then instead of later on in the season, instead of right after London.
Yeah, and
because of Kansas City.
It'll be interesting. I'm curious if the Chiefs end up with. I don't think they'll end up with another international game this year. Obviously, they're not a host team for it. I don't think that they would play another international game.
I think it could end up Brazil. Man, against the Chargers, which. That'd be fine. It's not in LA. They dominate there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs and Chargers in Brazil. You for that? You think that'll happen there, Drew?
Well, I think that because we talked about this when the opponents were first released, and I think that they're going to have a division game in the first week of the season. I just don't know who. Chargers is the one that I lean towards, but because the Chiefs haven't had a division opener in a while. I don't know if it's been 10 years exactly or not, but I think we looked it up, and it's been a while since they opened up with a divisional opponent. So I wouldn't be surprised if they open, whether it be in Brazil or not. I think a divisional opponent is definitely in the cards.
Well, they'll have their share of Sunday Night Football. They'll have their share of Monday Night Football.
Always.
Playing noon games has kind of been out of the question. Noon home games out of the question.
That Tennessee game screams noon game.
The funny thing is like, let's look at like 7 of the last 10 teams that were top 3 spenders in free agency didn't make the postseason the year before. Like the biggest free agent spender last year was Carolina, actually. And
I think
look how bad they were. They got better, but they were still bad.
Carolina might be an interesting team to follow this year. Just in regards to...
Because of the T-Mac?
No, I mean, sure. But just in regards to the way Bryce Young looked at the end of the year, the NFC East is wide open, or the NFC South is wide open. I mean, the Saints, I don't think anybody thinks is going to take anything. You know, they're not going to be serious.
You're not a Tyler Shutt guy?
No. The Falcons have Penix. We'll see how he does. Roster-wise, they're right there with. They might be the best roster in the division. I mean, with Tampa,
top to bottom. Yeah, Tampa's there. Tampa's great. Tampa's aging.
They've won the division 4 straight years,
something like that.
I
Yeah.
think Tampa. I think Carolina might be able to make some noise in regards to the division race. Maybe. I don't know if they make the playoffs. But
I think it's the second longest streak Tampa has winning division.
Because what did the division win last year? Was it 10 games, Bink, or was it 9?
Yeah, Buccaneers went 10-7, I believe.
And the year before was 9-8, right? I think.
Yes, I mean it's been a bad division.
Yeah, it's one of those where if you win 9
years,
games,
But they've won 4 straight. But they were
Sure,
13-4, 8-9, 9-8, then 10-7.
They were 8-9 and won the division. Good.
They won the division 8-9. Lost the wild card against Cowboys.
And the Saints won the division most recently beyond that, which was 2020. I believe that might have been Drew Brees' last year.
And they won 4 straight.
Yeah. It's a bad division. All in all, it's a bad division. And it was a really good division there for a little while, right? When you had Carolina at the height of Cam Newton and his powers, along with a really good Falcons team with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, the Saints were always consistently good with Drew Brees, and that division has fallen completely off the cliff ever since. I don't know. This division,
I still
schedule
do W
fascinates
and
me.
Ls next to all the teams when the schedule comes out. I still do that.
Just gonna chalk
I
it
still
up.
do W and Ls.
Okay, I like it. I mean, who doesn't, right?
It's just the Chiefs, right? Or do you go through every single team?
No, just Chiefs.
Okay. Well, yeah, like your first reaction record.
It would take forever.
I
if
think it'll
went.
be 12-5. Yeah, I get it. I think that's everybody's first move.
Yeah, because then
after
you
the
got to think,
schedule
all right,
comes
which
out
are
is-
the teams that can actually beat them?
Yeah, right. Of course.
Yeah, and it's hard to do it now. I mean, you know who they're playing, but you don't know the order in which they're playing, right?
Yeah.
Like
Or
you
how much
can-
rest in between, which I think is big.
Exactly. You look at it straight up, and you're like, okay, yeah, the Chiefs are capable of winning all 17 of these games. I'll say they go 14-3. And then the schedule comes out, and you're like, wait, they play the Ravens on a Thursday night, and then they play They play the Commanders on Sunday late afternoon, and then they follow that up with a Monday night game the next week against Detroit. And you're like, do you really see them winning 3 straight games against those 3 teams? Probably not. So your thought process changes a little bit once you see the order of events, when they play, what time they play, how little rest, how much rest they end up getting, where the bye week sits, who's going to be healthy, who's not. It changes everything.
So which road game would you recommend for Chiefs fans?
To go to?
To go to. Raiders, obviously. That's an easy one. Vegas is fun.
Yeah, Vegas is fun.
Tennessee, I think, would be a lot of fun, too.
I've been
to River. You can take the booze cruise and breakfast. You go right on the river.
I've been to Tennessee. I've been to Nashville. I've been, I've seen their stadium there in Tennessee.
Buffalo would be fun.
Buffalo would be a good one, depending on what time of year it is, right? If it's December, God, no, don't go to Buffalo. If it's September, okay, maybe you can consider
Still
it.
one more year in the old stadium.
AT&T is a really impressive facility outside of the stupid design of having those windows there where the sun just shines in on the stadium in the middle of a game. It's a really impressive stadium, I will say. So if you haven't been to Dallas, you haven't seen Jerry World, AT&T, they're in, I guess it's in Arlington, technically, not in Dallas. But that's a really cool facility to go to.
I would say Denver, but I think, honestly, they have the most annoying fans in the NFL, even more than the Bengals.
Wow.
More
than the Cowboys?
Yeah, incomplete chance. It's completely annoying.
I don't think Bengals fans are as annoying. The Bengals fans are lower on the list than I think you might think.
They're pretty bad, Drew.
With Gold's experience of getting mooned by Ravens fans are jerks. The
Cowboys suck. I can't stand the Cowboys.
Cowboys fans also suck.
They're just living in the past, man. The Dallas, as an Iowa fan, I also despise the University of Nebraska. Okay, Scott Parks and I, or our sister station KMBZ, we argue quite frequently because he's a Nebraska guy. I cannot stand the University of Nebraska the same way I can't stand the Dallas Cowboys because they haven't won a title in 30 years. The number of people I went to college with, man, that were Nebraska fans or they were Dallas Cowboys fans are like, oh, well, how many Super Bowls do the Chiefs have? How many national championships does Iowa have? The same number as your team since we've been alive, jackass. I don't want to hear about a title you won 30 years ago. It's the same problem I have with Notre Dame fans. You haven't won anything in 60 years.
Yeah, Notre Dame fans are. It was weird. This past season was weird in college football because Notre Dame was you almost wanted to root for Notre Dame a little bit. Which just felt weird.
It felt against everything I stood for.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you feel that as an Indiana guy. I'm sure you had to deal with a bunch of Notre Dame people growing up.
Oh yeah. That fan base is something else. I mean, the IU fan base is something else as well, which is very annoying. But
I was actually rooting for them. That was short-lived.
For the Irish?
No, for the Hoosiers.
When was that?
Huh?
During the season?
You
big
mean
Signetti guy?
Season, or you mean like in general, like a long time ago, and they did like Corso or something?
It was fun. It was fun to see their turnaround.
Oh, okay. We'll see how they do this year. I think they'll be pretty good again.
Signetti's got something. He's found something there. The problem for Indiana is going to be keeping him.
For him to say in his press conference, Google me, I win. I mean, that's a flex. That's a mic drop flex. And then for them to go on and dang near make the playoff bank.
Yeah.
The year that he said it after IU has been nothing but irrelevant in football.
They choked
other
down
than
the
the
stretch,
one year they
but-
had Penix after COVID was unbelievable.
Dude has never had a losing season. Not one. Started coaching at IUP.
Google him.
In 2011. His overall record as a head coach is 130-37.
Yeah, I think
It's insane.
He has there's certain coaches that do different things very, very well. Like Lance Leipold does a fabulous job rebuilding programs. Matt Rule did a good job of that as well in college football. He's trying to do it at Nebraska. There are some coaches that no matter where they go, they just win games, and it's remarkable how they do it. And Kurt Signetti is one of those guys.
I think this old moniker, too, of it's got to be an FBS guy, got to be the guy with experience. You've seen more and more guys step into it. I don't care about that. Hey, were you a winner? Lance Leipold, 6 national titles, winner. Chris Kleiman was a winner.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care
Kleiman's
if
another
you're
good
FBS or
one.
whatever. Doesn't matter. Different levels, whatever, you're still a winner. I mean, that's who I'd go for.
Yeah. That's why Harbaugh has been able to do what he's done throughout his career, right? He won at Stanford. He won with the Niners. He won at Michigan.
Won at San Diego University.
Won at San Diego. He's winning again with the Chargers, you know. The only knock against Jim Harbaugh is that he can't win Straight up. He's got to cheat in order to do it.
So it's all legal now.
Well, I mean, not what Connor
Except for that,
Stallions did.
yeah.
Do we still know if that actually? Because
I'm sure.
Do we know? Are we ever going to really? Are we ever going to really know?
No, we're never going to really know. But in my heart of hearts, I know he cheated. The guy got in trouble 9 times.
But the thing about it is, everybody scouts everybody. So as far as sign steals, this is an old adage. Teams do it. It's like the old Bounty Gate New Orleans. People were blown away when the Saints were busted for Bounty Gate, but everybody does it.
Yeah, the problem is always going to be when you bring the technological side into it. Sign stealing has been a part of sport since sport was invented, right? That's why the Astros got in so much trouble because
then everybody said, "Uh-oh."
They brought the technology into it, and they didn't. When everybody's sign stealing and it's just based off line of sight, that's a level playing field. When the technology is brought into it, that's when the game gets changed, right? Yep. That's why the Spygate thing with the Patriots was such a big deal. That's why the sign stealing and the trash can banging was such a big deal with the Astros, and why the sign stealing was such a big deal with the University of
What
Michigan.
always cracks me up is the paranoia, especially the catchers coming out and talking to the pitcher or the pitching coach with the glove in front of their face, or the hand. It's like, are really people going to give a damn about 2 crap teams in the 8th or 9th inning? What the pitcher saying to the catcher? Like some teams I get it that are legitimate, whatever, but when you see crap teams do it, it's like, man, no one's watching your stuff.
Now they're just used to it.
Like the White Sox, no one's watching your stuff, and no one cares what you're throwing.
Even in post game, you see athletes go up and they're holding the towel up above their mouth and they don't want anybody.
It's like nobody cares. It's like nobody cares. Like some teams, it just doesn't matter what you say. The White Sox could tell you exactly what they're doing, and you wouldn't give a damn.
No, because you'd still beat them.
I mean, they can say what they're doing all they want to, but do they actually do it? Like, hey, I'm going to throw a fastball upper right corner. Maybe it doesn't go to the upper right corner. If anything, you might rather not know what they're doing.
Keep them on their toes.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like when the Patriots were filming the Bengals, and the Bengals were bad at the time.
On to Cincinnati. Yeah,
on Cincinnati. Set in Kansas City. Coming next, though, we'll look at what's trending around the world of sports and how the NFL... the NHL might get it more than anybody else. We'll discuss that next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that. And often, we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find that your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make the change for good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Hey there, Kansas Lottery here. And we want to get together for a game or two. Meet us at your favorite retailer or wherever you like to buy your tickets, and we can let the games begin. There's a lot of fun and cash on the line. See kslottery.com for details.
Cosentino's food stores are celebrating 77 years of serving Kansas City. Come in today for incredible anniversary savings across the store. You'll find some of the hottest prices of the year, now through May 20th only. From fresh produce to family favorites, don't miss the unbeatable prices at every Cosentino's location. For 77 years, it's been our family's honor to serve yours, and we're just getting started.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs From voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. So he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gear? Check. Snacks? Check. Tires? Not so much. I didn't have time to deal with this, so I asked my friend. Her answer was simple. Take it to Telly, she said, and I'm so glad I did. They didn't just take care of my tires, they took care of me. We got you, they said, and they did. Fast, friendly, and stress-free. Now I know when life throws you a red card, take it to Telly. Stay in the game. Take it to Telly.
Catchy tune, right? But don't let the urge to sing along distract you from the truck drifting towards your lane, or that lane-splitting biker creeping up beside you. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you. And Hyundai has over 130 IIHS Top Safety Awards since 2006. Because Hyundai is always working to ensure the road doesn't... IIHS Top Safety Awards include Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus awards to Hyundai vehicles from 2006 to 2025.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Going down in the rinse change.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
I'll bet you mom is the best gift giver in your life. She always gives most thoughtful, meaningful gifts. And that wrapping, that ribbon curling, top notch, right? So give the moms in your life an Aura digital picture frame preloaded with decades of family photos. Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter, and it's easy to see why. There is unlimited storage, so you can add as many photos, videos, and funny memes as you can find. And it is so simple to set up. Just plug it in and share away. She will feel so close to you, and you'll cement your place as the best gift giver in the family. Win-win. Dudes, I'm telling you, the technology on this product is incredible. Mom will love it. Aura's got a great deal for Mother's Day, too. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver mat frame. That's AURAFrames.com. Promo code ROAM. Support the station by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's trending is that Jack Caglione just hit another home run.
So he's got 2 now today?
He's got 2 today.
Omaha, let's go, man. Move him.
3-hit game for Jack Caglione. 2 long balls. A go-ahead 3-run bomb in the 7th inning after he went to opposite field earlier in the day.
Double-A can't contain him anymore, Drew Nixon.
Nope, they cannot.
Listen, we got to tamper the expectations down just a little bit, right? This is his 30th game, if that, in Double-A. Even Bobby Witt Jr., as highly touted a prospect as he was, played 60 games in Double-A before he got the call to Omaha, played 61 games in Triple-A, and he was the Royals' opening day starter at shortstop the following year. I think you give him another month or so, right? Reevaluate in June what you want to do. Call him up to AAA, where he can play June, July, August if you want to.
Oh,
and then
Logan,
next
I'd
year,
go ahead and do it,
that
man.
guy's an opening
I'd
day
go ahead and
starter.
do it, man.
I know.
Omaha,
I know you
here
would.
you go.
I know you would,
I'm
but
moving on up. Let's go.
I don't want to move the guy before he's ready. I don't.
Let's go. Anyway, this presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu as far as what's trending. By the way, that's home of Mike McCarthy, Baker University, probably their most esteemed alum. Starting off NASCAR week, NASCAR's coming to Kansas City, to Kansas Speedway. Drew's already seen a lot of the haulers start to make their way out to Kansas Speedway. Nice 1.5-mile track. It's a fun race to watch. It's more fun to go to. I don't know if you had a chance to go. If you're kind of on the fence and you can't find yourself watching NASCAR on TV, if you go, I definitely think you'll become a fan going forward. It's that much fun going out to a race.
It is. It's a good time. Just be fully prepared to not be able to speak for at least one quarter of it.
Bring some earbuds.
Have no idea how loud those cars are at 200 miles an hour when they come rolling past your quarter of the track. You can't hear yourself think when they go by. It's unbelievable.
When Pat Warren, the Kansas Speedway president, let the guys, we were 6'10" at the time, but we went out and visited the Speedway. And he let all the guys drive their personal cars around the track. Every single one of them had their traction control go off. They had to go to dealership once they left.
Yeah, make sure to bring earplugs.
It's loud in there, man. What else is trending? The Florida Gators have reached a 6-year, $40.5 million extension with head coach Todd Golden. That's fresh off of the Gators winning their third ever
That's why
national
the SEC
championship.
is America's conference.
I guess so. He becomes one of the 5 highest paid coaches in college basketball history at just under $7 million annually, about 6 3/4, after leading them to a 36-4 record in his third season. He is 39 years old, became the youngest head coach since Jim Valvano in 1983 to lead his team to a national championship. So Florida keeping Todd Golden around for the long haul.
It's too bad Golden can't coach football.
Sorry?
It's too bad Golden can't coach football.
I think Billy Napier's doing a good job there.
Define good.
A whole lot better than Jim McElwain was, and they're winning games.
Well,
they're winning games in the SEC.
That's true.
Very competitive.
They're not winning national championships. And we know that in Gainesville, when it comes to Florida Gator football, if you're not winning national championships or competing for them,
If we're
going to
be honest,
job.
Billy Napier's doing as good of a job as Brian Kelly is, and Brian Kelly's not anywhere close to the hot seat, but Billy Napier is.
That's Florida for you, man.
I mean, Brian Kelly couldn't win with Jaden Daniels, quarterback, Brian Thomas, a wide receiver, Malik Neighbors.
That's what I'm saying. And I was down there when I was in Pensacola talking about the Gators and Seminoles when Billy Napier first came through there, and that was one of the big things. Is I think there's a lot more pressure on Billy Napier to try to fit. They want to be fixed, even if it's not to win a title. Obviously, they'd like that, but they want to be in the playoff, in the conversation. They haven't even been in the conversation over the last few years. They got maybe the best quarterback in all of college football, DJ Lagway.
And they had Graham Mertz, who was drafted by the Texans, as the Texans took 3 players from the Kansas
Graham
City
Mertz had some injury stuff
area.
going the last couple of years.
The Royals, they've won 12 of the last 14. They've had 5 shutouts in the last 10 games. This team is on pace to have the best pitching staff ever in the organization. They get the White Sox. America's booty call for Game 2. You know what to do. They know what to do.
That's exactly what you want. Whether you're on a hot streak or you're struggling, the palate cleanser that is the Chicago White Sox and the Colorado Rockies are
The
kind of
swamp buster.
Yeah, the Colorado Rockies got the ball rolling, I think, with this whole thing, and the Chicago White Sox will They will be a nice little end cap to this. They follow up. They got this 4-game series, against Chicago, and then Boston comes to town for 3 games over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this will be a nice one. If they can win 3 out of 4 here, or maybe even sweep, and you
don't call for sweeps, but go ahead.
You don't. You can get to 22-17 or even 23-16.
Yeah.
When Boston comes to town, that's a nice little spot you're in, because I'm not sure you can sweep Boston. They've been pretty good to start the year, 18-18.
Phase 2 of the NFL officially began today. Phase 1 now over, down to Phase 2. Phase 3 is when they do the OTAs and the mandatory minicamp. That's actually more fun when that happens than Phase 2. But so far, so good with these rookies getting acclimated. Again, rookie minicamp. It's tough to take anything that happened because they're going against other fellow rookies and undrafted players that they signed with the team. But Phase 2 does begin today.
This is important, right? And, earlier we were talking about the NFL moving to an 18-game schedule and possibly getting rid of preseason games. That would make this part of the year even more important, right? The offseason and the preseason, yes, it's about getting guys back acclimated, getting them back up to game speed and whatnot. I think the most important part of the offseason is figuring out who's filling out the roster, right? 1 through 35, 1 through 40 is typically pretty strong. You got that one kind of pinpointed as to who's who on this roster. The question becomes who's 41 through 53. That's what the offseason's about. That's what rookie mini camp's about. That's what the rest of this is. And for the offseason, right, we're looking at a guy, a first-round pick in Josh Simmons. The Chiefs are taking their sweet time with him, as they should. You don't want to rush something like that. But if he can prove that he's physically healthy enough and ready to go, this is the time where Josh Simmons could prove he's a day one starter at left tackle, which could throw a massive wrench into what the Chiefs' plans are this year.
The one thing I like hearing from the rookies, and it's not about which damn barbecue restaurant they like, which the media loves that question. It's like, who's going to throw it out? Who's going to throw it out? What's your favorite barbecue? No, I hate that. But the expectations when you are a Chief, when you get drafted by the organization, you walk in the building, you start seeing the banners, and then old Mahomes says, hey, you need to go to work. That's what he's been telling these guys, like, go to work. I like hearing that because it's a different mindset of the organization
than it was 10 years ago,
used to
for
be
sure.
The Steelers like this. When they draft you, expect you to play. It's not the training wheels. The Patriots, they draft you, expect you to play. You come to Kansas City, this team's about winning.
Yes.
This team's not about, hey, just go out and put a good effort. This isn't Cincinnati. I'm just kidding, Drew. Or Arizona or some of these teams. It's about go time with the Kansas City Chiefs. I love hearing that and expectations. Like, you just know when they put that helmet on, this team's about winning.
Yeah.
And forget about what you've done before. It's about learning this system and fitting in and making this team better for the Kansas City. I love hearing that. It's kind of like the Royals' attitude. Listen, I know in 14, they didn't really have anybody with playoff experience. It didn't really matter. They swept everything through until they get to the Giants in the World Series. But, they didn't have much playoff experience. I mean, up and down. That team just did not, have that kind of experience. But this year, they talked about, and Bobby Wood Jr. talked about it, they've won.
Mm-hmm.
They made the playoffs. So despite those 100-loss seasons, they've proven they can win.
Exactly.
And they expect to win going forward. But I love hearing that from the rookies when they come to Kansas City because it's not vacation time here anymore.
No, not at all. Every team in every sport, right, whether it's the National Football League, whether it's Major League Baseball or the NBA, whatever it is, every team, or the majority of teams, I should say, hope to win. But there are a select few in every sport, in every era, that expect to win. And I think that is the biggest mindset shift for the Kansas City Chiefs, is they are no longer an organization that, even going back to the Alex Smith years, right, there was a hope to win. This was a team that was, they shouldn't say that. They expected to win games, but they didn't expect to win big games, I don't think, right?
They started winning the divisions with Alex Smith. They carried them home.
And that's where we are now. The expectation is to win. And not only win, but to win at the highest level possible. The expectation isn't, let's try to compete for the division. The expectation isn't, let's try to make the playoffs or let's try to win a playoff game. No, the expectation is, hey, we're going to host the AFC Championship game or we're going to a Super Bowl. That's where they are now. And that has been so much fun to watch because for a long time, throughout most of my lifetime, it's just been hoping to win, right? The Trent Green, Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson, X Factor Dante Hall years, right? They were good teams. They hoped to win. They won some games, but they never expected to win in those big time moments in playoff
this
scenarios.
Team expects to beat every single body they play,
yes,
which is huge. And you got a coach that's number 2 all time in wins in the postseason, and you've got a quarterback that's only behind Tom Brady as far as postseason wins.
And that's what the Royals are trying to create.
Yes,
right?
And that culture and attitude when you step in here, it's different. It builds itself when you're coming to Kansas City. And they brought in Jake Brenningstool from Clemson, took Andy Reid called.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference. Andy Reid calls or Patrick Mahomes texts you or whatever. That stuff makes a difference because it's the culture in Kansas City. These guys, for the most part, want to win. And that's important. I remember Kevin Wilcox, the head coach of Cal, came on with our draft special and said 2 types of players. Just 2 categories. Those that like being a football player and those that want to be a football player. Meaning, you have all the accolades, you're a pro ball player and all that. And
they like
tells
the fame,
you how good you are.
The fame and fortune and the accolades
but the guys
and
that actually
admiration
come
comes
in
with it.
and want to be good.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be good. And I'm noticing a lot with this team lately, too. And I don't know if you've noticed it, Logan, but I have. Like, the lack of, the Met Gala was last night, where Joe Burrow looks all shiny and comes out of the car with some chicks and everybody's putting up. But the Chiefs aren't doing that. They've done it before. I just haven't seen it. You haven't noticed the commercials really
right.
with the Chiefs on them right now. I've seen Andy Reid more commercials than anybody with those Skechers. But that's it. I mean, Mahomes, cut the hair. It's low profile. Kelsey, low profile. I kind of like this kind of hidden monster the Chiefs have become. They took it personally what happened, and that's good because most teams, bank on the fame, the commercials, and all that. They've done all that. It is to the grindstone now. Like, I just haven't noticed it. Like, people all across the country get tired of all the Chiefs and all the commercials and all that. Well, that happens with success. But they've been doing it. Mm-hmm. They have kept it extremely low profile this offseason.
Yeah, I know it's a cliche, but I feel like the Chiefs' mantra, and at least the way that they're carrying themselves this offseason, is keeping the main thing, right? When you're on top of the world and you're a back-to-back defending Super Bowl champion, you go out and you do all these things, and you're like, well, we're still winning. So what's the problem? And they're still winning, right? They lost one game. They lost the Super Bowl. They got to the Super Bowl, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, AFC
3 years in a row.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but they didn't get the ultimate prize. And we know that with guys like Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Andy Reid in this organization, the top guys that lead this club, nothing matters. The season's a failure unless you win the last one, because they've gotten a taste of what it's like to win the last one. In fact, they've done it 3 times in the last 5 seasons or 6 seasons. So to not have that gratifying feeling of being on the mountaintop again, to be knocked off of the mountaintop after holding on to that mantle for quite literally 3 consecutive seasons until the final few seconds of Super Bowl Sunday, it's a fall from grace. And I think that it's allowed those guys to reevaluate. I think that there's also, factors that play into it. Travis Kelce is probably, this is it. This is his last season, right? I think most of us would assume that. A lot of people thought that he was going to retire this offseason. But he's not. He's going to come back. He's going to play one more year. And I think that he and Mahomes,
I think it might be different.
Had they won it, yes. But because they didn't, you're looking at it from a standpoint, Kelce realizes that this is kind of his last hurrah. And whether it was a spoken or unspoken agreement between those 2 guys and the rest of the organization, you got a first ballot Hall of Famer that might be playing his last year, and a guy who really laid the groundwork for the foundation of what the Kansas City Chiefs are today. I know we give a lot of credit to Mahomes, and rightfully so, but Travis Kelce's played a massive part in this as well. And the last thing that Kelce and Mahomes and Andy Reid and this Chiefs organization wants to do is not give everything they have to give Travis Kelce the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl on his way out and him be his absolute best version of himself here in his late 30s before he ultimately calls it a career and immortalizes himself in Canton.
There's something he said, Kelce said after they lost to the Buccaneers, and I loved it. It's a mindset change with the organization. When he was asked, if it's a success or not, and he flat out said no. Many times in the past, just getting to the Super Bowl, Chiefs would have loved it, right? But they'd already had the success. They'd already won. And then they got rolled by Tampa, and it left a bitter taste. So much so he said this.
Well, I mean, I took a note from the Bulls when they were winning their championships and had their run. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got the ring, baby. And all those accolades, all that stuff, it might be cool when I'm sitting down on the couch watching the young guys try and chase the record, but right now, none of that really meant anything. And last year was a failure to me, to be honest. It's just that's just what I have in my heart. This is the type of player I am, man. If we're not going out there winning Super Bowls, man, the season isn't a success.
See, I love that attitude because that just shows you a shift in the way this team – that was after the Tampa loss in the Super Bowl. So they tasted success, and he said, can't call it a success because we didn't win at all. See, I love that mindset. And they're carrying that mindset top to bottom in that roster, guys that have been here.
No question. No question. And as long as 15's there, as long as Andy's leading the charge, that's going to continue to be the expectation for this team. And guys have bought in, not just guys within the organization or guys that they've drafted. Free agents have bought into that, right? I mean, Hollywood Brown taking the deal that he did last year on a 1-year kind of prove-it situation.
Which everybody thought he was done.
Yeah.
Even Veach says, we got him for 1 year.
Yeah.
Until he got hurt.
And he gets hurt, and he probably could have gone and got more money somewhere else. I mean, look at what guys like Curtis Samuel were getting in other places, right? I mean, Hollywood Brown probably could have made more money with another organization, but he decided to take a little bit of a pay cut and stay with Kansas City because that's where he wanted to be, right? Nick Bolton didn't really want to even entertain the idea of free agent conversations. Trey Smith didn't really want to entertain the idea of free agent conversations. Those guys want to stay here because they know they can win here. And that's the beauty of where this Chiefs team is compared to where it was even a decade ago when they were successful, but they weren't. If we don't win the last game of the year, it's a failure type of successful. That culture hadn't been established yet.
But I love when they had it. I remember when he said it after that Tampa loss. Yeah, it's one thing. It's not just, hey, we got there. It's we didn't win it. And I think that's important for this organization.
Yeah.
And I think hey, keep in mind, too, you haven't really heard much from Mahomes. I mean, he's spoken at the dealer, but not a ton. And driven guys hate losing. The Jordans of the world, he never really he didn't face it in NBA Finals, but certain guys have it and certain guys don't. Tiger Woods always hated when he win a major.
And you hate it. Guys like that hate when they lose, and they especially hate it when they lose and didn't play well, right? Like Mahomes has lost games before, right? They lost the Super Bowl against Tampa, but Patrick Mahomes played pretty well in that game. I know you look at the box score and you're like, oh, he was this and that. And he threw a ball parallel with the ground and hit Darrell Williams in the face mask and he dropped it. Mahomes was throwing the ball
losing
phenomenally.
The AFC title game to the Bengals, that pissed them off so much so they've been in the Super Bowl ever since.
Yes, but he played well in those sorts of games, right? This is maybe the first instance of its kind where Mahomes is coming off of a loss that stings in this fashion, and he didn't play well. That might have been the worst start of Patrick Mahomes' career. And so this offseason, I think he's stewing in that a little bit of he didn't play well enough for them to win a game. The Chiefs have lost plenty of football games when Mahomes still played well enough to win, and they just came up short.
Yeah, it's one thing for all the fans to be watching NFL Network or ESPN when they're crapping on your team left and right. It's another thing to play for that team.
Yeah.
Because that even motivates you that much more. Oh, I did want to talk about the NHL real quick before it's not about the hockey in itself, but the NHL is planning to do, they scrapped the All-Star game again. So they did the tournament this past year where they had the four going, different countries going.
It was face-off or whatever it was called.
Yeah, Four Nations face-off, a huge success. It was a huge success. People were watching, enjoying it. But they had a regular All-Star game scheduled. Now, they didn't do it this year because they're, preluding to when the NHL players will be in the World Cup coming up. And then in the future Olympics, the NHL players will be in. But they had an All-Star game. That was the All-Star game from last year, which actually was much better because it was the best of the best playing for the countries, which is awesome. So they said, hey, next year, we're going to do the same thing. Because they actually had an All-Star game plan. They scrapped it. And it was supposed to be where the Islanders play. They were going to have the All-Star game there. But they scrapped it for a, quote, international event. So we don't know what it's going to be, a Four Nations face-off. It might be something completely different. But I think it's cool because what the NHL said, hey, this was popular. Let's scrap whatever we're doing, and we'll do the most popular. And nothing against the NFL because everything they do turns to gold. But the Pro Bowl sucks.
Yes.
And the NBA All-Star game sucks.
Yes.
But the NHL All-Star game, basically it was this way. And they had the tournaments between different teams, the 3-on-3 and stuff like that. But at least they realize who and what they are and say, let's do something different. And so they're doing another international event next year. It hadn't been determined what exactly they're going to do, but they saw success in it and they're willing to jettison what they previously were doing to do something popular that fans like. This is smart by the NHL doing this.
Absolutely. If there's one thing that will motivate a player to play hard outside of money or for the organization that they represent, it's their country or their whatever it is, right? And the NHL has found that here. The NFL, I don't know what they can do because
they still get ratings and stuff, but nobody plays it. It's a joke.
The NFL
flag football. Come on.
The NFL is dominated by the United States. They don't have a ton of international players, right? And so you couldn't really go about it in this unless you wanted to break it up by you've got your South, you've got your Midwest, your Northeast, and your West Coast, and you wanted to do it in that fashion,
Problem is, these guys won't play in it. I get it. They got to the point, football's just changed.
I think the NBA could absolutely take this formula and press it forward. I mean, that is the most international sport of any of the professional sports we see. Even the NHL, as international as it is still dominated by the big three of the United States, Canada, and Russia. It's dominated by those three for the most part, or the Baltics.
I just like when other sports realize you're not the NFL.
Right.
Forget about it. Stop trying to be the NFL.
Yes.
I know Major League Baseball has changed their draft now. They do it around the All-Star game. They've tried to do things better. I think